Hello, welcome. Happy Friday, y'all. Hey, sis, I see you the first one in the building. I'm sorry, y'all. I had some things to do this morning, so I was a little late, but I'm here. Hey, sis, welcome. I see you the first one in the building. Let me see. Okay, okay, let me do one thing while I'm waiting for some people to come in. Hey, sweetie, how are you? If I'm saying your name right, Miss Griffin, if I'm saying it right, I don't want to get it wrong. Let me know. Hey, sweetie, how are you? Sorry, y'all was late. I had shit going on this morning in my real life. Nothing bad, but y'all, you know how they go. Okay, let's see here. Okay, got it. I had it right. Okay. Happy Friday to everyone. Now, yo, Mr. Potato is doing an interview, but I'm gonna miss it, y'all. It's gonna be at 2 o'clock. I forgot the guy name that he's doing an interview with Mr. Potato Hunter. Yeah, he's doing an interview at 2. Yes, he's doing it. Oh, you on it? What did y'all think about Nancy Grace live yesterday? What did y'all think about that live yesterday? You know what? They can't mess with Nancy. She's too much for them. Nancy is just too much. Like she get to the bottom of things. She's not gonna let you gas like her. She's not gonna let you swindle her. You know, she's been in the game for so long. She's been a prosecutor for many years. Um, I know some people don't like her, but I like her fairness, right? And I like because of her being a prosecutor. You know, I like when she said one day on her live, she said, you know, before I fully prosecute people, I like to have all the facts, all the evidence, everything. Because she stated, I don't want to put an innocent person in jail. And when she said that, that really touched my heart. Because you got a lot of prosecutors out here, they'll put you in jail and not even have all the facts, all the evidence, nothing. They'll just, you know what I'm saying? They want to get that payout. You know what I'm saying? I beat this case, you know. So that really touched me, you know, when she said that, you know, because she said she don't like putting innocent people in jail, and I respected that. I really did. I really respected her for that because, as I say, we got prosecutors out here all around the world that don't care about putting you in jail. You know what I mean? Yes, Miss Grifton. Yes, I love when she said that. You know, so I really respected what she said. You know, but we know how the world is, honey. All prosecutors not the same. And then also, Nancy never lost a case. Okay, she never lost a case. Hey, Auntie Davis, how are you? Hey, um, Buttercup 52, how are you doing today? Happy Friday to you guys. Let's see who else I missed. Hello, everyone. Hello. Now, I want to ask y'all a question. I want y'all to be honest to me because y'all know I take all requests before we go on, right? Okay, how many of y'all seen the interview yesterday with the mom and I think the dad, and it was somebody else. I can't remember. Was that Al Sharpton, y'all? Now I didn't watch all the interview, y'all, because I was kind of really tired when I got off, and I had a headache, so I I don't know if it was my eyes started to bother me because sometimes my left eye does bother me a lot, and I have to take eye drops. And I think I had pressure on the eye, and it was giving me a headache, so I had to get off live and go to sleep. So I didn't watch all of it, but what I did watch was and y'all correct me now because I was half asleep and half woke. The mom said that Nolan, not Nolan, Warren did talk to her. Now, did she say that she told Warren the phone was pending at his house, or did Warren tell her that he had the phone? Which one, y'all? Which one? Because I'm not sure. Sharon, how you doing, baby? Because they was dragging her on that, and I needed to know. I wonder what he's going to do when she see the parents conference. Yes, I didn't see the interview. What happened? That I'm trying to figure out now. I didn't feel good yesterday until I went to sleep after my live. He told, she told him, I believe. Okay, now they're saying that she's lying, right? That she didn't tell the whole truth. That Warren told her, I have his phone. And let me ask y'all another question. Was the keys in the phone at the same location, y'all? Please help me out here. Because people is saying now that the keys in the phone was at the same location. And they also stated that they came that they came 5 or 6 cars deep. Hey, I wouldn't blame them. She said they were there. Okay. Yes, it was. Okay, what do you mean? Yes, it was. Yes, it was the house and keys in the same location. She told Warren that the phone was showing to be on land. Then she said, then he said, I had the phone. Got you. Got you. Okay. So she didn't really know where the phone was. She just told him the phone is pending on land. He said, I have the phone. So he didn't really come out after and say, I have the phone at my house. Is I'm correct, Scorpio? Correct me, baby. Yes, they were in the same location. Thank you, Miss Grifton. I'm getting more information. Thank y'all so much. Because y'all, I wasn't really feeling good too good yesterday when I did my live. And they was giving them they run around from the beginning. Got you. Correct. Okay. Thank you. Now I got it. Okay. Because y'all, I'm a type of person I don't like bashing nobody. That's not where I'm at. Um, and even no matter which way the story went, I still wouldn't bash the mom, right? I'm not that type of person. So that's why I came out to get the information from y'all. Because, like I said, I wasn't really feeling good yesterday after my live. And when I was on my live, I really wasn't myself yesterday because I had like a bad headache. But I pushed through with y'all yesterday, and y'all didn't know, okay? I kept it to myself. But when I got off, I had to take my medicine and I had to just lay down and relax my mind because it was I was just not feeling where I wasn't myself. Roy DOB covered the whole conference. Okay, do she have it on her page, baby? Cause I can go see that. Let me know. She don't mind me playing her stuff. Let me know if she got it there and I can go back and grab it. Okay. Okay, let me look at it right now. Thank you so much, Miss Griffin. Appreciate that, baby. Okay, and then we'll get into Nancy after I go um grab this from Open Book. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me go to Open Book. Okay. So this was yesterday, she said. Okay, let me see. Okay, I think this is the one right here. Okay, let me pull this up and you can let me know if this she did yesterday. Okay, hold on. Now let me bring it up.
Start calling this the pickup line chronicles. Okay. Okay.
Could you, Miss Griffin, could you let me know if this the one right here I'm playing now, sweetie? Because I'm not sure of which one. So could you let me know? Is this the one right here? If not, I can go
This
fucking.
line here is like enough time for me to sit and do a mini live every day. Okay. Cause child, it should not take this long to
Hey,
get your
Auntie.
kiddos. But y'all come on in, make sure y'all tap that like button. Let everyone know we are live. Also, if you would like to support the channel, you're welcome to send a super sticker, super chat, cash app,
She did
or
a
buy
few
a
of them.
coffee.
Okay.
Now, y'all, let me say that this live is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is covered under the Fair Use Act. Information shared is alleged in our
Okay,
opinions
so
as
I'm
we
trying to
react to
see.
various
Hold on,
topics
y'all, because
and
I want to see. Oh God, I can't even contact Open Book right now because I think she at work. Damn. I think Open Book is at work right now, and I'm not gonna be able to contact her right now. Hmm.
welcome to the Open Book.
Yeah. All
This
right. We're
is
gonna
your
see
host,
what this
Lakeisha. I hope everyone is having
one.
a terrific Thursday.
Let's just scan through this one.
Listen, Tater Tot and the lawyer, they don't even know Nolan. This is so awkward and fake to me. I would be like, do not even try to honor my son with what y'all got going on. And we don't even have answers. Now I can see
Who is Queen, sis? I don't know her because I don't know a lot of content creators. Yeah, I don't know a lot of them. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. And you know, a lot of people stuff I don't like to play because I don't want them to strike my channel. Because you know, sometimes, girl, some people don't like you play their stuff. They'll come after you. Oh, Willie D too. Okay, let me go to Willie D. Okay, all right, let me go to him. Thank you, sis. You got me this morning, girl. Thank you. Let me see. Okay, I'm on him now. So let me see. Um, let's see. All right, let me see. He did a whether the video sis or live. Cause I see he live now. Okay, Ben. Okay, is this? Cause I want. Okay, I see he did one right here. 21 hours ago he did one, right? But this looks like the one that he did with he did both. Okay. Cause this look like the one that he did with them. I was. Are we talking about the one when they were sitting down? Right? Is that the one we talking about? When they were sitting down with Al Sharpton and Ben Crump? Is that the one we talking about? Okay. Okay. Got you, sis. Got you, love. Got you. Got you. Got you.
More is more. Try this, try that.
So I'm going to go ahead and apply our daily microfoliant. This is gentle.
Okay. So this is the one that they did two yesterday, right? So I was looking for the second one when they were sitting down doing the interview. That's the one I was looking for. I don't think that he did that. I seen a lot of people with that interview, but I don't think I follow some of those people. So let me see what he's gonna do on this interview. Let me see, because it was.
To make
See,
sure
this one
that
I don't want to play. I want to play the one
calling on the federal authorities and anybody
where they were sitting down. Yeah, I don't think this the one.
some laughter as we think about
Okay, because I can't. Oh, I think I found it right here. Somebody else got it. Hold on, sis. I think I can use this one. Oh Lord, I don't know. Wait, I think I got it, sis. Okay,
So he leaves
got
that
it.
day. He leaves that day with
Sis, I appreciate your work.
5:44 that evening.
God
Records
bless
show
you.
that the boat that carried Nolan to Horn Island made it back to the mainland. Again, that was 5:44. We're talking just over 2 hours. Now, his family reported him missing around 11 that night, and this was after
Thank you
one
so
of his
much,
traveling
Miss
companions
Griffin.
called the family, alerting his mother. By Sunday, Nolan's family is, of course, understandably frantic. They're retracing his steps, they're posting online, as we often have to do with missing Black children. What happened to Nolan Wells? Well, by Monday, July 6th, the news that Nolan's family feared the most, the remains
Thank
of
you,
Nolan
sis.
Wells
I
have been
appreciate that.
recovered on
Thank
the
you for your
shore of
support.
Horn
Thank you
Island.
for helping me. I appreciate it.
What happened to this boy? And ABJ, I want to bring to the stage two people who want answers to that question more than anyone. His mother and father, Christine Wells Wansley and Elmore Wansley, joins the stage now. They'll sit here and there. And they are joined by civil rights attorney Ben Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton. Thank you all for being here. I know you've been on a whirlwind. I know you've been traveling a lot. So thank you all. And I know you all have other challenges happening around the country that you'll be getting to after this. But I am we are all so honored to meet you. And we are so saddened that we are connecting with you under these circumstances. You know, I want to tell you, they asked me to call them Christine and Elmore. I want to say Mr. and Mrs. Wansley, but Christine and Elmore. I want to tell you in the audience in this room, but also watching at home, are thousands of Black journalists. But in addition to being Black journalists, these are mothers and fathers, siblings, cousins, aunts, and uncles of Black children. And we see your humanity, and we're going to center that. in this conversation. There you go.
you.
Hold on.
I told Christine if we cry on this stage, it's okay because we're among family.
Okay.
Amen.
So you take your time. Christine, I'm going to start with you. On Friday, July 3rd, Nolan made you dinner. And so as you're telling us about the last time you saw your baby boy, I want you to talk to us about who Nolan was and tell us about that day.
So Nolan is and was an incredible, just incredible soul. He was the person who, no matter where you were in life, what was going on, he was going to be your biggest cheerleader. And I can attest to that because after COVID, my sister was like, oh, you should do social media. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do social media. I like to just watch others. And then Nolan was like, no, Mom, you should do it. I'll help you with the videos. I got you. And, just anytime I was like, oh, I just really don't want to do this anymore. Nolan was like, no, Mama, you hadn't posted today. And I'm like, I don't want to post. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But, that's the kind of person he was. He was God-fearing, God-loving. That boy had faith beyond measure. He was just a bright light. And he was our bright light. As far as that day goes, went to work and he was making salmon. So he was FaceTiming me as I'm trying to see patients kind of in between, of course, not answering the phone in the room. And he's like, hey, Mama, how does this look? Is this enough season? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I was like, okay. I was like, you don't have to do that. And he's like, no, I'm going to take care of it. I was like, okay, sure. And so he's like, yeah, what you know about this? And he was, guys, when I tell you that he loved to joke, like he was just one of those people. He wanted everyone around him to smile, be happy, feel comfortable and accepted. And that is the kind of person God made him. Us as parents, we definitely had that influence, but Nolan was just naturally a peacemaker.
Yeah.
And so yeah, after that, it was, 8, and then he got ready to go. He did his normal, hugged us up. I love you, Mom. I was like, be safe, knowing this was going to be his last weekend before going back to school because football was starting, the summer training was starting. And this was his second year at Southwest. And so we knew this was going to be a big year for him. Dad and him had been training and doing all these things and really just kind of sitting with him and letting him know like, hey, we're going to the next stage in your life as well as, your football career. So the focus was there and he was ready.
So he leaves that day.
He leaves that day with, he drives his car and he told us kind of a general like, hey, we're going to go to the island. Like we knew that, staying at Jack's house. And Jax was a friend I think we've met in passing before. And that's the thing, I always say there's a difference in meeting someone, knowing of someone, and then.
Y'all, didn't I tell y'all that? How many times I said that on my live? It's a difference between meeting someone, being friends with someone, and knowing someone. Just knowing them. You can just know them by their name, not saying you're friends with them. I said that so many times. And I don't understand why people want to make this lady to say that those was Nolan friends. They could have been Nolan friends to Nolan, but not to her because she didn't know them. And they are so upset with this woman because she won't come out and say, yeah, they was Nolan friends. Like, what in the hell?
Knowing someone. knowing implies that we've sat down, we've had discussions about your hopes, your dreams, you know, knowing you, okay, hey, he stayed the night at my house, which
Facts.
Wyatt, one of his friends, he had stayed at our house a couple of times. And then Jax, again, that was one I just maybe saw in passing a few times. There was only a handful of young men that we actually knew, like he grew up with. And when I say grew up, I'm saying from like first grade, they've known each other all through high school now that they're graduated. And that would be like Jalen and Javon, LeBaron. Those are kids that we knew. So it's just, it's been hard seeing all this kind of play out.
Yeah.
And, you know, these are people that he considered friends.
Yes.
It was different than anything I had experienced before.
Hold on, let me
And
get this
it was
off.
really uncomfortable and really painful.
Dad, I want to ask you, because it was Warren Hudson, one of the people that he traveled with, who called to alert you all that Nolan was missing.
Yes.
So we know at 5:44, the boat returns, Nolan is not there. At 11 p.m., he calls to say Nolan is missing. I wonder if either of you, whoever wants to answer, what happened in those few hours that prompted Warren to be concerned?
So I'm not quite sure what would prompt him to be concerned, but all I can say is what I did that day. So me and my sister, we made an order of pancit, which is a Filipino noodle dish for one of our friends. They were having a big family get together, and we really didn't have anything planned for the 4th. So me and my sister are, you know, cleaning up, and this is about 8. And she's like, hey, you know, Nolan hasn't texted us. Like, and that was the thing. Nolan was really big with communication with us, right? And so I call him, doesn't answer. I end the call, call back. And this is probably, I think, maybe around 8. Don't quote me on the times, guys. So then I call again later around 8, still no answer. And then I want to say I called one more time, and I think that was at like 10:48. So I'm in the kitchen, my phone rings. Now this is probably like early 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. Phone rings when I make it back to the phone, and I'm like, whose number is this? Because, you know, we get weird phone calls sometimes. They didn't leave a message. Number pops back up. I pick up the phone because it says maybe Warren. And I'm like, Warren? So this is 11:07. That's per my cell phone records. So I answer the phone. He's like, hey, Miss Christine, have you seen or talked to Nolan? I said, no. Why? He should be with you guys. And he said, oh, no, well, you know, when we went to the island, there was a girl named Katie that he met, and he had decided to stay behind. I said, what? Because we know our child. And Nolan isn't one to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind, and I'm going to stay here with this girl that I just met. So I'm on the phone with him. Now I'm in a panic. I'm running into my room. Elmore was in bed watching a different movie, and I'm like, frantic. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, Nolan is missing. I'm trying to pull up the GPS as I'm talking to him. And at some point he tells me that, I was like, well, you know, his phone says GPS Life 360, not Snapchat.
Right.
Life 360 says that he's on land. And he was like, well, no, I mean, you know, well, we have his phone. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, okay. Because at that point, you're telling me, this is coming from Warren, don't worry about it. We're going to find him. It's going to be okay. Don't tell me not to worry. This is my child, my flesh and blood that I brought into this world. And you're telling me not to worry. Absolutely not. So then it was after the phone call ended, of course, asking him for information. What was he wearing? He was like, last seen, Northwest tip, black shorts, sunglasses. That's important. So I end up calling DMR, spoke with the DMR. She took all the
for our audience, DMR.
So DMR is because he went missing on the island. They are basically the marine people, right? They're the ones who's going to launch the boats to go into the water and all that. But before getting off the phone with Warren, he was like, hey, I know some people at Coast Guard. I said, okay. He's like, I'm gonna call Coast Guard, you call DMR. Get on the phone with DMR. I give the young lady the information. And she tells me, hey, you know, I got this. Let me call you back. Because she was like, I'm not sure if this is going to be in our jurisdiction, essentially. So then she calls back and she tells me, okay, yeah, you know, we spoke with Coast Guard. And I'm like, okay, but they're like, this isn't our jurisdiction. You have to contact the city of Ocean Springs. I said, okay, hang up the phone, call in Ocean Springs Police Department. They say, hey, you have to physically come down and give a report. I said, okay. So on our way, because we don't live that far from the police station, on our way there, I was like, well, let me stop by the hospital, because there's a hospital that's maybe 5 minutes up the road from our house. Stop by there. I'm like, hey, have you guys seen this kid? Has he been brought in? The lady's like, no, ma'am, you know, we hadn't. I said, okay, thank you. Run out. We go to the police department. Get to the police station, and the officer basically says, again, this is out of our jurisdiction. And at that point, I'm like, my God, who am I supposed to talk to? Who is supposed to help me with this? So then he said, it's going to be, you would have to call DMR. I was like, we've already called DMR. DMR said it's not in their jurisdiction. So we end up, I think at some point I had called Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Yeah. So she calls.
Sis, now the blue shorts, right? Yo, take me back. Because, oh Lord, it's been so much. What color was the shorts that he had on that boat? When he was on that boat, remember the picture the mom posted on the boat? Could someone let me know what color was those shorts on that when he was on that boat? And Scorpio said he knows some people from the Coast Guard. So, excuse me. Okay, that was blue. Got you. Some people from the Coast Guard. So why you didn't want them to come when you all was sinking? Right. They was blue and gray. Okay. And why would the guy Warren call beginning to come and give him too much information, and then he wasn't? Exactly. He wasn't with his friend. Exactly. So why are they lying and saying that he told the mother he had the phone? No, he did not. Because from what she just saying here, she looked at the phone saying he was back on land. That's what she told Warren. The phone is saying he back on land. Warren repeated back, no, I have his phone. So he did not tell the mother that he had the phone. If the mother would have never said the phone is showing his pending back on land, he probably wouldn't have told her that he had the phone. So why is people saying the mother is lying? No, she's not lying. She's sitting right here stating what Warren told her. And then for you to sit here and tell her, it's okay, we're going to find him. Let me call the Coast Guard. You do this and I do this. First of all, don't never tell a mother her child going to be okay when her child is missing. That's something you never tell a concerned and loving mother. That's something you never tell a concerned, loving father, that their child going to be okay and their child have been missing over 24 hours. And Mr. Potato don't see nothing wrong with this? Come on now.
Back, and she's like, hey, are you there? I said, yes, we're here, but he's telling us the same thing you guys told us, which is no, we can't take it.
Thank you, Auntie.
She gets on the phone with the police officer. Now this is Jackson County Sheriff's Department speaking with the Ocean Springs Police Department. Ocean Springs Police Department is saying, this is why we can't take this information. She says, okay. He gives me the phone back. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to take the information. And that was, we met an officer. It was after midnight. Right? Yeah, it was somewhere after midnight. Met him in the McDonald's parking lot, gave him the information. He was just like, okay, thanks. That I was like, where is the urgency? Mm-hmm. And so.
Gear up for your season at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's Fall Hunting Classic. Our biggest hunting sale of the year.
Thank you again, Ms. Griffin. I appreciate that. I was struggling this morning, girl.
As far as we know, there were no boats on the water that night. We actually, his high school football coach, Coach Bramlett, text Elmore that morning. He said, hey man, I got a boat. Because again, we don't have boats. Let me make that very clear. We do not have a boat. We're not boating people. We don't do water like that. Okay. So Coach Bramlett's like, hey, I got a boat. So we was like, great, let's go. We're on the water. We go out there. We walk the island. Cell phone works perfectly fine. I actually had almost an entire conversation with my grandmother who was in a panic as we're walking this island looking for anything.
I just want to pause there. The cell phone worked.
You see what she said? The cell phones worked it perfect. Ooh, wee.
Fine. Because in the reporting, there's been so much reporting that there's poor cell phone reception. And this is some of the disputes that we have about that night. Dad, feel free to jump in here because they're saying he met this young lady, Katie, and that he stayed back. According to the reporting, Katie is saying no. He said he was going to go with his friends. According to the reporting, the friends say, no, he left us his phone because there was no reception. Dad, have you found any consistencies? Have you spoken directly with any of his friends?
Well, the first inconsistency was you called me and tell me my son stayed on the island to talk to a girl. My son would never do that. That's not in his character. I didn't raise none of my kids to do that. The second thing is you say he doesn't have his phone. He doesn't leave his phone. I would wake up sometimes in the morning and Nolan would have his phone here right in my face. And I'm waking up cussing and fussing like, boy, you don't get the camera on my face. And he just laughing and giggling and stuff like that. So it's twice. To me, there's two lies that he told me as a father. Like I said, we went on the island. And actually a classmate of mine called me that morning as we were going out to the island with Nolan's coach. He's like 40 miles away. He calls and, hey man, I got the boat, me and my boys, we're gonna go out there and help you look. I didn't call him, he called me. And we're gonna start on this end. I said, well, we're probably gonna start on the other end. So me, my wife, Coach Bramlett, and a high school classmate of mine were the only, we were the first ones out there looking. Like I said, we docked the boat, got out the boat, walked on the island. She had a whole conversation with her grandmother on the island, got back on the boat, went back around the island. I guess that would be the north side, facing the Gulf of Mexico. I get another phone call. So my phone worked fine. So this whole thing about not having phone service, I don't know. I don't know if it's the carrier or what, but ours worked fine. I think those around maybe 8
Wow.
Yeah, because we finished
wow.
up
Who was
around-
it? Jackson County or the
Jackson County Sheriff.
finally showed up.
Yeah.
A couple of boats, they finally showed up. By that time, I was like, he's not out here. I was more focused that he was at someone's house.
That was the
So that's where my hopes and feelings were. So we left. The county stayed out there. My friend, he stayed out there because he called. He's like, well, we're gonna stay out here a little bit longer. I said, okay, I appreciate it. So we leave. Then I would say maybe a couple hours later, my friend calls me back. And he said, well, we're gonna give it a go, but he said, look, I can gas the boat back up. And if you want to go back out there, we can go back out there. I said, I don't want to go back out to the island. I have a feeling that he's not there. And I don't want to go back to the island. So he offered, he said, well, if you do, we can go right now. I said, don't worry about it. I appreciate you coming out there. But he said at that time that helicopters were out there, more Coast Guard, more people were out there. So we get back on land. And as far as the keys, was it that night? Or was it
that was that night.
That was the night the call. Okay, let me back up. As far as getting the car back, after we gave our report to Jackson County, the sheriff department that night. We were trying to figure out who to get a report to. We had a friend in the family that located his phone. We wasn't there to get the phone, but apparently there was some kind of friction with getting his phone. We don't know what the friction
So
was.
the phone and the key were at the same location, which was Jack's house.
Okay.
And again, all of these kids share their locations on Snapchat. And so she was like, hey, I can go pick his phone up, not thinking that his car is there, you know, which she stopped everything she was doing. Her and the boys, they went out. Like, we were all out searching for him that night. And yeah, like Elmore was saying, there was an issue, some type of friction. The cops ended up coming and they left. And so then kind of the same thing when we came to pick up the key, Elmore went up there asking for the key, didn't know where the key was. And all of a sudden we know where the key is.
But see, hold on. But see, this and this is another thing that bothered me too. When we got to the house, you know, it was some of his other friends were there, you know, and they were, you know, beating on the door like, "What Nolan there? What Nolan there?" You know, beating on the door trying to get in the house. So I walk up to the door and I'm calming them down because for one, okay, you're loud. Two, you're in these people's house. So if we tear these people's house up, this could be a whole nother issue. I don't want y'all bothering. And three, I need you guys to calm down. I need them to kind of trust me as being an adult so I can get something out of it. So I get them out the house, and then Jax finally comes down the stairs, I guess in the room. Hair all messed up like he just woke up, whatever. I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. His car's outside. I need to get his car and all his personal effects that may be left over.
Oh, shame on them line boys.
And he goes, oh man, Nolan was like my brother. I said, Nolan was like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go and get everything of his so I can get his car, I can go home.
Miss Griffin, that's a good point there. I agree. Why didn't they? Why didn't they? It wasn't their car. That's why I say it's a lot of red flags. Just a lot of red flags here. And these people is really overlooking these red flags. And they stand out here, they sitting out here spinning the narrative, saying she's lying, she didn't tell the truth with the keys, and they bring people, all these people to their house. Well, shit, I would have too, looking for my motherfucking son. I done came 7 cars deep too, motherfucker. Maybe 10. Okay? Because at this point, you don't know what's going to go down, who to trust. You're looking for your son. Ain't nobody telling you nothing. So, yeah, they did the right thing. Of course they did.
She walks off. 2 or 3 minutes later, he come back. I don't see the keys. Okay. So I leave out the house, go back outside, stand by the car. During that time, one of the guys that was in the house, one of the other friends, he was on the phone with a girl who was apparently there with them earlier that day. And she was telling him that his keys was on top of the Xbox in his room. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and we're still out by the car. And lo and behold, here comes the keys. So now to me, you lied to me 3 times. I don't believe nothing that you tell me from here on out.
And this is Jax.
This is Jax.
And eventually he does give you the key.
Yeah, eventually give me
But there
the
was
keys.
friction getting the key.
Yes. So for one, you tell me my son is on left still on the island with a girl. 2, you have his phone. And 3, you don't give me the keys when I ask. I don't know any father who would believe, just if one of my friends did that. I'm gonna be cordial with you, but I'm gonna watch you. And
Ben, I want to ask you, because I'm hearing these 2 parents who essentially had to become search and rescue or law enforcement looking for their own child with such a lack of urgency on behalf of law enforcement. Obviously, we're talking to Black journalists. We can't ignore the ugly racial history of Mississippi. I looked into the demographics of the Jackson County Sheriff Department. It's quite asymmetrical. But also just the general attitude and the lack of value when it comes to Black life. Does this sound like a normal process for when an 18-year-old goes missing to you? What holes have you seen in your looking into this case?
Tiffany, that was the question that Christine and Elmore had when they first called us. They wanted the truth of what happened to their 18-year-old son, Nolan Wells. And they had concerns whether they were going to get a fair and impartial investigation. And from that day to this one, it has been the same objective, to have truth, transparency, and find out what happened to Nolan. They said, we want a thorough investigation, because when they found Nolan, they expressed to me that the sheriff had already said no foul play. And they was like, no, my son, he knows how to swim. Our son is a college.
Yes, they never even said sorry for your loss. And y'all, I seen a picture going around too on Facebook. I don't know if y'all seen it. Y'all probably have. Of Nolan, not Nolan. Oh God, God rest his soul in peace. God, rest in peace, Nolan. I think it was Warren and Bark, Mr. Potato, and the attorney, like they were sitting out of some flowers or something for Nolan. That is AI, y'all. That's not real. And let me tell you why I know it's AI. For one, if that picture was real, do you by any chance think when they got on Nancy Grace live that day, do you think them lawyers wouldn't have said that to make their client look good? They loved the Nolan. We was out there on the island, we did a memorial for him out there on the island, and neither one of them say that. Neither one of them say that. Okay? Because I seen it earlier that day before Nancy went live. And then I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? That picture is fake, because they would have said it. Even those boys would have said that in that interview, because they would have made themselves look good and like they loved it, Nolan, and they was Nolan friends. So that picture, y'all, that was an AI. And then I went in the girl comments on Facebook, and everybody in the comments like, y'all crazy. Y'all believe everything y'all see. That is AI. They're trying to make themselves look good. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. That is definitely AI. So that's why I never say anything about it, because I told you I don't believe everything I see.
Athlete, our son is in great shape. We don't believe that he just drowned and nobody knows nothing. Nobody saw nothing. I mean, there are about 300, 400 people on the island. And so that's what they were saying. We want to know what happened. We want truth. We want transparency. We don't want his death to be swept under the rug.
Well, just so to make sure the audience and the people watching at home know, so they did declare very quickly, as you're noting, that he drowned when his body was recovered on July 6th. Mom and dad and you all know that he is a student athlete, able to swim. On July 4th on Horn Island, it was very crowded. Certainly the suggestion is someone would have seen a child in distress. There is going to be the convening of a grand jury. Now, the DA of this area, Angel Myers McElrath, is a very out loud, proud Republican. If there is a U.S. attorney appointed to this case, it will likely be a Trump appointee. I'm just curious, Ben, from you and Rev, I think we have to be very candid here. What concerns do you have about the racial animus that we are seeing so much of play in this case?
News the Nolan Dry Eye Relief. Soothes and moisturizes dry eyes with naturally inspired.
Shop Boscov's back to school sale. Choose from men's and women's champion sweatshirts. Only $19.90.
It's a shame how them boys lie.
all I'll say, and then defer to Rev, you want to believe that this is a child, that everybody is going to do their level best to find out what happened so these broken-hearted parents will know what happened to their child. In time, we've seen Christine and the family be attacked just for asking questions. What happened to my child? Trying to say, no, we want to question this part of the investigation, that part of the investigation, because day one you said no foul play, but tell me now, what are you doing to be able to get us to the truth? And that is, it causes them sleepless nights. We talk at night. And so trust, but verify. We are trying to cooperate everything we can do to say, hey, we want to help, but we want you to give them a thorough investigation. We want you to do for him what you would do for your child.
Rev, I'm going to come to you in a sec, but you brought up something, Ben, about attacks. And certainly as journalists, we have a keen eye, and I have noticed that the narrative around this story has shifted to the threats that are going to the young men who was with Nolan. They've hired attorneys who previously represented Donald Trump in cases. They've gone on very MAGA-friendly podcasts. And I just want to make sure that we keep the main thing, the narrative to the victim, to the actual child who died. And I'm curious, Christine, if you can weigh in on what threats have you and your family experienced?
So there have been a big smear campaign, just not only professionally, but personally for me. And
they attacked your nursing license.
Yes. So it started out with 1-star reviews of people saying they saw me. My office verified that these were incorrect. And then it went so much as to someone contacted the Board of Nursing. And then that opened the investigation for the professional misconduct. There was no evidence presented for that claim. And the investigator I spoke with, he said, we have to do our due diligence. I said, I understand it, respect it. He was like, I'm sorry it's coming at this time. I was like, no, I get it. Do what you have to do, because I know who I am. I know what kind of care I give to my patients. I know the relationship that we have. And I'm grateful that my patients, a lot of them are still trusting and loving in the care that they know they're going to get with me. And so these attacks are not going to, it's not going to break me. I have to find out.
Amen, girl. Tell them. God got you, girl. You going to stand tall. Tell them.
We have to find out what happened to Nolan. That is the only question we've ever asked. We've never blamed anyone. We've never tried to smear anyone. I know I heard something about the picture. That picture was sent to me because
this is the picture of him on the boat.
On the boat with people.
Yes.
And what it was is they were like, the person was like, Miss Christine, the information is incorrect. This is what he was wearing. Because initially he was in black shorts, which again, that is the information I received from Warren, verbally and via text. When she sent me that picture, I was like, oh, completely different color. These are like.
Okay, let me stop it here. I'm glad she said that, because I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew she said another color shorts that Warren had told her, but I couldn't remember. But she just clarified that Warren told her that they was black. So y'all, that's what made her post the picture to say these are the shorts that he had on last in the last picture he took. Y'all get it now? Because Warren told her that he had on black shorts, but Warren lied. They was not black shorts. And that's when she posted a picture and said, no, these is blue shorts. These are the last people he was with. This is the boat that he was on. See, Warren didn't get mad because of the picture. Warren got mad because of the fucking lies, and he didn't want to be exposed, okay, with the lies, because somebody out there know what happened to Nolan. He had already lied to her about the color shorts, okay? Now we see he lying and saying he told her about the phone, that he had the phone, but no, he did not. She said when she was on the phone with him, she told him the phone was pinging on land. He said, no, I have the phone. So some of these creators need to go back and rewatch this again and see what she said. Because I see a lot of them like taking what they want to take in bits and pieces out of it and twisting the whole narrative around too. But that's not what she just said. She said she was on the phone with him. She said she talked to him. But he lied about the phone. He did not tell her. If she would have never said, I see the phone pinging on land, he probably wouldn't have never told her he had the goddamn phone.
A blue-gray short. So we had to correct that. But I'm grateful. We are grateful to all of you. Thank you for keeping our son's story alive.
Exactly, Ms. Griffin, not listening.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for having us.
With Rula, your therapy sessions are affordable and covered by insurance.
I think that's part of the our assignment here, our responsibility. So often in newsrooms, we have to defend and define Black life and defend and define our own humanity. And so it makes a difference. The same way in other newsrooms, when you see someone and you feel like they're familiar, that so happens as they resegregate newsrooms and lay off Black journalists en masse, that goes away. So the people in this room have a keen interest in this story because they see your humanity, and that's what we center in this conversation. Rev, put this in historical context for us, because as I look at Mississippi, I don't have to tell you of all people some of the immediate thoughts that surface for us here.
Well, when I got the call from Ben Crump and he had the parents connected, and they told me the story, I'd not heard the story. I heard something about some in Mississippi, but when I heard the details, the thing that jarred me from a civil rights point of view, and I've been working, Ben has come National Action Network for 20-some years with a case, and then in from there on and on and on. And if it's not a civil rights position, we don't get involved. When they told me that law enforcement said there is no foul play, that's a prejudgment. And I said, wait a minute. They said, the parents repeated to me in front. I said, they said it was, this 2 days after it happened. And how do you investigate and there's no foul play and you don't even know what happened yet? So that's what perked my interest. So I said that, well, we'll be involved and we'll help to the best of our ability. Talked another day or two. I said, y'all come to New York, we'll have a national press conference. That's how we broke the story. The first national press conference they did at our headquarters, National Action Network. And then all of a sudden, it was all of this attack for getting involved. And so, and they asked me to do the eulogy. I said, we'll take care of the funeral. Tyler Perry called me and said, no, I'll take care of it. So the thing that bothered me, one, it was prejudgment. Second, the parents of the guys that were with him start talking about they was going to sue us for getting involved. And sue, I don't even know the kid's name. So you can't say I defame your son. I don't know your son's name. But I will say this on this stage, I want them to sue me first. And I tell you why. No, I tell you why. And National Action Network, you serve the papers. Because I want to depose your son. If you sue, the plaintiffs are deposed. So rather than us depend on a Mississippi DA who's already had people saying it was no foul, let's go to civil court, any kind of court you want to go to.
Okay,
because
I'll shop and tell
you
them.
can't make this make sense. And direct to your point, Tiffany, as I said in the eulogy that I did, I don't know what happened. The parents never said they knew what happened. They never said it was racial. I don't know it was racist, but they don't know it wasn't racist. Mm-hmm. You don't know what happened. Right. So why are you prejudging it unless something is there you don't want out? Second thing is, and I said this to Elma and Kristen, I had hurt my knee. I had torn my meniscus. And when I tore it, I told Ben the truth. I did it working out one morning, but I told them I got it because I was on my knees praying too much. But anyway, when they took me to say that may have to do surgery, the first thing they said is, well, we got to get your medical history from your primary doctor. I said, okay. So I said in the eulogy that I don't know what happened, but I got your history in Mississippi. And the history tells me black boy go out with 3 white kids come back. There's a blurred story on what happened. Now y'all all hostile and all upset. Didn't have the keys, but then you had the keys. Some about this don't make sense given your history. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna stay on this until we find out what happened. It may be nothing, but we're not gonna leave that up to chance with people that are distorted. We gonna stay on this case. And lastly, since they want to talk about lawsuits, one of the things tying your morning together, Tiffany, they may come back, as you suggested, playing right-wing politics with this, with the local prosecutor, maybe even with the federal people. But if we have a change in January and there is a Democratic House, I said that if Hakeem becomes the speaker, he needs to have the chair of judiciary subpoena them to the Judiciary Department, testify on oath. That's what this vote means. Mm-hmm. We need to have a check and balance of government so that we got somewhere to go. We can't depend to go to Trump's Justice Department. Mm-hmm. So we need to really mobilize so people like these 2 parents can protect their children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
I think you laid out such a great example on how the tentacles of white supremacy cast such a dark shadow over almost every aspect of what your parents went through. I know that there's so many more questions that I have, and I'm sure the audience has. As all my broadcasters know, I have an IFB, and they've been telling me to rap for about 10 minutes. But we wanted. It was my pleasure to go over time, and not only my pleasure, my responsibility to give you all a platform to share your story. I think it's so important, and I think this is the responsibility that the Black journalists in this room take very seriously and will carry with them back to their newsrooms where they may be the only, or back to their platforms where they are building reach or have a wide reach. So I thank you all for sharing your time and being so open. There will be a press conference. There was an autopsy, a second autopsy that Ben Crump initiated that I believe Colin Kaepernick helped to fund. There were questions around that. And so please, I encourage credentialed media to please go to the press conference, and the access for credentialed media will be on the NABJ app for more information. So I don't want you all to think I didn't have more questions, but I passed the baton to you all to go ask all the additional questions. And I just want to thank all of you all sincerely for being here. And I want to thank you, NABJ, for being such an attentive audience.
It's that time of year again,
okay,
with school supplies as low as 25 cents.
I think that was a very great interview. Very, very great. That was a very great interview. I mean, I seen some people on Facebook this morning. They was going in on the mother. She's a liar, and she didn't tell the truth. And I'm looking at her different. Well, don't look at her. That's all I'm gonna say. Shit, don't look at her. I mean, if that's how you feel, because I don't think she lied. That's why I wanted to see the whole interview myself, because like I said, I didn't see it yesterday, y'all. I didn't see it. I went to sleep. So I said, I'm gonna play this interview today because I want to know what was really going on, But I see what's really going on now, you know. She told Nolan. Oh God, I keep saying his name, y'all. Why? Oh Lord. Um, she told Warren, I'm looking at his phone. His phone is pendant on the land. Oh, I have his phone. So what did she lie about? What did she lie about? So I guess they trying to say she lied about not saying that she found the phone on her own and Warren told her. No, she did not. Now, let me say this. Maybe what happened was when the phone was pendant on land, it probably was not actually pendant at his house, right? It was just pendant on land, stating he was on land, but where at, she didn't know. Now, oh my God, y'all, why I keep calling his name? Y'all tell me why. I hope it's a good thing, y'all. When Warren said that, hold on, y'all. Let me just
Wells investigation.
I'm gonna play that in 1 second. Give me a second. So when he said, "Oh, I have the phone," that's when she was like, "Oh, okay." Y'all get what I'm saying? What's she supposed to do? After that, she went and got the phone. But you didn't actually tell her, you can come pick up Nolan's phone. The phone is here. I don't know where Nolan at. He left his phone with me, but I don't know where he at. You never told her that. You never told her that. It was at Jason's house. He was at Jason's house. They knew yes, Miss Griffin. They made her stop the interview. Did you catch that? Oh, they did? No. The pinging mess Warren lie up. Yes, absolutely. 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 Hold on, y'all. Let me text open book back. Okay. I had to text open book back. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it messed up his lies. Sure did. Talking about something. Well, she know I spoke to her. She never denied that she talked to you though. She never denied that. She didn't deny it the first time because when she came up the first time and they did that, y'all remember when they did that first press conference? She never denied that she didn't speak to him. She might didn't tell the whole story, what was said verbatim, but she did never deny that she spoke to him. Now she's telling the whole story, what they really talked about verbatim. She's telling it now, but maybe she don't have to give these people what they want. She don't have to do that. When people lose a loved one, you have to give them time. You have to give them time. Like, what the hell? They had a press conference they had to do. Yeah. I be saying, I be paying close attention, especially with this case. Yes, you do. You really do. You do. I ain't gonna lie. You do that. I give you that. Cause this case is heavy. It is, y'all. This is a very heavy case. Now let's get into Nancy.
Tonight, the timeline seemingly blows up.
Oh, wait a minute, y'all. Hold on, cause I gotta let y'all hear something before we do this damn live. Okay, I need to let y'all hear something. I can't bring it up, y'all, cause I gotta download that app on my phone. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me get to it. Y'all remember the other day when I played Don's Lemon live, and the lady was up there, and I called her Miss Spicy. Do y'all remember her? Anybody remember her? And I said, "Ooh, I ain't never messing with her. She is spicy, baby." Well, baby, let me play you what she said this morning, honey. Let me play you what she said this morning on her Instagram. Cause baby, when I say she's a beautiful woman too, she's pretty. When I say she's spicy, she don't play. All right. So I'm gonna play this before we get into the other thing. Just listen closely. Spicy, she don't play. Hold on. All right. So I'm gonna play this before we get into the other thing. Just listen closely.
Tesla Figaro here. Just wanted to make this quick video because now Brandon Tatum has agreed to do a live with the good brother Elliot Speaks, the mental health professional, which is wonderful, by the way. I love Dr. Elliot's work, and I know he will absolutely give him the business. But what I do want to flag for you guys is, notice that Brandon Tatum has yet agreed to come do a live with me. He'd rather go back and forth with D.L. Hughley, the comedian, trading jabs. He'd rather sit on Stephen A. Smith with Gary Chambers and talk about race as a whole. He'd rather, be on a panel with my good brother attorney, Charles Coleman, and speak about the case, bits here and there. But notice the one person he does not want to go live with. Her name is Tesla Figaro. You know why? Because I actually have just as much information about this case as he allegedly does. I know Attorney Crump's record inside and out. Worked on almost every major case since 2012. I'm the only one in the Ben Crump documentary Civil defending Ben Crump's cases and his reputation. See, he wants to talk to everybody but me, Tesla Figaro, the one who's been on Fox News since 2015, undefeated, debating all of his heroes, from Charlie Kirk to Candace Owens to Tommy Lauren to Megyn Kelly to Sean Hannity to Jesse Waters. Yeah. I'm bringing this to your attention not because I think he's going to ultimately say yes, but I want you to peep game. See, people never want to get in the ring with people that can hold the same level of conversation again. Nothing against all of my brothers who are intelligent, who I know will get in and talk about all of these overarching issues about race and racism, and let's talk about America as a whole. No, Tatum, get in the ring with Officer Ted so we can talk about the case. Because, see, that's how everybody became to know you. They know you through the Nolan Wells case. So why don't you want to talk about the Nolan Wells case? So you would much rather talk to everybody but the person actually working on the case? You want to throw shade at Attorney Benjamin Crump all day long, but you don't want to talk to one of the attorneys or one of his law clerks, if you will? Yeah. Come on and come get some of this FAMU Rattler College of Law love. Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go back and forth with the real patriot, the real veteran, the real Air Force.
You hear her, don't you?
I know why. You know not to punch above your weight, and I ain't mad at you. Very wise. You're not as dumb as I thought. So I'm going to keep bringing it to people's attention, not because I'm looking for clicks and views, but I want them to view you. This has been Tesla Figaro. Peace. Tesla Figaro here. Just
You heard it, didn't you? Baby, she is spicy, baby. She don't play, okay? She do not play, all right? I want y'all to hear that. Because y'all know she was in the Navy. She was a cop. She was a police officer in the Navy. She don't play no games. I was like, I got to play this for y'all. When I seen that this morning, I was like, okay. Like, She said he don't want to mess with her, honey, because she is fire. And she will bring a smoke. And I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. She said, you better say that. Hey, Rebecca. Let's see. During the press conference, Christina was getting overheated because they was fanning her. Oh, yeah, I seen that, Scorpio. Yeah. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I seen that. You can't say too much because you can mess up an investigation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, she wasn't. Ooh, baby, she's a smoker right there, baby. She said she don't want to get in the ring with her. Shit. I don't think so neither.
This, as Nolan's mother is investigated. Why? And tonight, possibly even more important, where is Nolan's phone? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. We want the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells.
A Bertram boat was seen leaving shortly afterward at a high rate of speed. Pretty certain Nolan Wells was part of a group that was, quote, almost fighting around 5 p.m.
I'm on the side of finding out why everybody got back to the mainland except Nolan Wells.
I don't think they've cooperated at all. They do not have Nolan's phone. They haven't had access to Nolan's
And that's none of your damn business.
phone. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department hasn't. So how can you say that there's text missing or there's photographs missing? Our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back to Christine and her friends later that night. So anything about missing text messages or Snapchats is completely false.
Big question. That is Tyler Cox representing the so-called friends of Nolan on Horn Island.
She said so-called
and if he's
friends.
claiming that no one see the phone, how does he know that something's not missing? So that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Let's hear that one more time from our friend Dan Abrams.
I don't think they've cooperated at all. They do not have.
Want to start a podcast, but not sure how.
That's none of your business if they ain't cooperating.
First,
tell your
go to
clients to give up their phone.
Nolan's phone. They haven't had access to Nolan's phone. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department hasn't. So how can you say that there's text missing or there's photographs missing? Our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back to Christine and her friends later that night. So anything about missing text messages or Snapchats is completely false.
That's a veteran trial lawyer. That is.
You don't know if that's false or not because nobody got in Nolan's phone yet to see if it's false. So how can you come out here prematurely and say it's false? Because you don't know that because the phone have never even got turned over to the detectives so they can see if it's true or false. So how you going to say that's false, that nothing was deleted? None of us know that right now at this point.
Is Tyler Cox. He's representing the young men that were on the boat that took Nolan to Horn Island and came back without Nolan, according to them. Joining me in All-Star panel, I'm not saying Cox is right or wrong, but what I am saying out to Brandon Tatum. Tatum, former police officer, Tucson, star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube. He has interviewed Nolan's acquaintances that were on the boat that day. Officer Tatum, thank you for being with us. Let me talk about this one moment. We've got so much to get to. I'm going to try to be brief. Tyler Cox stating, I don't think they cooperated at all. I think he's talking about Nolan's family. They, I guess the sheriff's office, haven't had access to Nolan's phone. Well, can't they subpoena that? It's called a subpoena ducis tecum. You're familiar with those. You've testified in court. A subpoena ducis tecum is, we hear about subpoenas for testimony. I've been subpoenaed. Yes, go to court and tell the truth. A subpoena ducis tecum is for an item, an object, a document. The sheriff can give out a subpoena ducis tecum or get a warrant for an object. So you don't have it? Fine, get it. Next. So how can you say I'm quoting, how can you say there's no text message or photo, as a text message or photos missing? Our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back. So seeing anything about missing texts or Snapchats completely false. Well, according to the mom, Officer Tatum, she says that there was nothing sent out while Nolan was at Horn Island, which she found very odd. I have no reason to disbelieve her. So how can you say there were missing or there weren't missing? I don't think you can say it either way. Why don't they just get a search warrant and go get the phone? You know what? Forget all that. Officer Tatum, where is Nolan's phone? Do authorities have it?
Well, from my understanding, authorities do not have it, and the family have not been cooperating with authorities to give the phone over. According to the testimony or written statement from the lawyer that represents the family, the Nolan Wells family, he had made mention that he's prepared to cooperate, but they have not cooperated yet, which is very interesting to me. You want to find out what happened to your son. You would think you will be doing everything you can to cooperate.
It ain't none of your business. It's none of your business. You trying to put yourself somewhere you don't need to be. It's none of your business. Only thing you doing is making this shit messier than what it already is. Okay, it started getting messy anyway when you got involved in it. It's none of your business what they're doing and what they're not doing. That's for the investigations to come out and say, where they not giving us this, they not cooperating with us. Who are you to say anything? It's none of your business.
I can't judge her. I don't know what's in their mind, but it just seems to be very off-putting for them not to at least give the phone over and do what exactly they told the world they were going to do, and that is to allow a forensic extraction of his phone. Therefore, the world can see if there is things that have been deleted. I think Tyler Cox is very clear about what he's saying, that the boys had nothing to do with it. So if there's anything missing from the phone, it had nothing to do with them. Now, I'll add this. When you look at what Christine said,
Brandon, whoa, bit. I'm going to go right back to what you're saying, but you're saying a lot, and I want to address each thing so we don't leave anything out. Number one, you just stated that, basically. Correct me, you can paraphrase this any way you want to. It looks really bad for Nolan's family not to hand over the phone. Do you have any independent knowledge they have not handed over the phone?
According to their lawyer that wrote a statement, and the statement was, we're prepared to cooperate, but that was as of the 11th. Therefore, they have not cooperated. Tyler Cox has made mention that he don't believe they cooperated whatsoever. He don't believe they cooperated whatsoever as well.
None of your business or their business.
You're taking their words, Tatum, that their words that they're prepared to cooperate to mean they haven't handed over the phone. Isn't that true?
I'm putting everything together, right? We have Tyler Cox that's coming out and saying that he has no indication whatsoever they've cooperated. The family has not come out and said that there's any findings. And then also the attorney that represents the family is saying that we haven't sent or gave the phone over, but we're willing to. And that was as of the 11th. So it appears that there's no indication that.
Brandon, you may very well be a lot smarter than me, but I can hear. Okay. The statement was, we're prepared to cooperate, I guess from Crump. That does
I'm not
not
sure
mean
if it was.
We have not handed over the phone, but we will.
Well, Nancy, when you put it all, you have to put the totality of circumstance together. I'm not there to be in the room with the investigators to determine, but I'm just going off of what knowledge we have and that's been given to us that's available. And what Tyler Cox is saying, and I'm taking him at his word, he's saying that there's no indication that they've cooperated. The lawyers that represent the family is saying we're prepared, but they did not say that they've cooperated whatsoever. So I'm looking.
But what is it your business? You're the ex-police officer. You know it in law enforcement at all now. You have nothing to do with this case. You made this case messy, okay? You turned this case upside down to hell and back, okay? Nothing this family is doing is none of your business. And we don't need nobody like you on the police force, not around the whole country. We don't need nobody like you because you are not a person that brings people together. You're a person that divides people. And we have enough division going on out here in society today. And we don't need no more of you out here. Okay? We don't.
Looking at the statements that are produced, and all of the statements indicate that there has not been a cooperation with the phone being extracted from investigators. Therefore, there is no true determination that things were missing from the phone. Well, I mean, we have no other. We have no other.
Whether you're backing up your home,
Hold on,
exploring the outdoors, or powering the job site, Harbor.
All I
We
can
have
tell
nothing
from that
else to
statement
go
is
off
we're
of.
prepared to cooperate. For all I know, that means
no, it's a lot to go off of. It's a lot of stuff y'all can still go off of. Go back and examine that boat again, redo that picture, give us a real time stamp. What time was that picture of that day? Go find the people that Nolan stayed back with and interview them. Yeah, it's a lot of things that still can be done. You just doing what you feel that is right for you. That's it. Because there's a lot of things that still to be done. A lot of things. Okay? Tell your people that you're interviewing to help you find the people that Nolan's supposed to have stayed back on the boat with. And also interview the people that you claim that told you, because it came out your mouth, that they supposed to have been giving Nolan some powder. Interview them people because we would like to hear from them people. So it's more work on your end that you can do. Okay? Yeah, it is. Bring it because we need it.
we'll come in for questioning. We'll let you search his belongings. It
Nancy,
can mean anything. That does not equal. We have not handed over the phone. But hey, you know what?
Nancy, it's been weeks.
You say tomato, I say
cooperate.
tomato, because it kind of doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Actually, I'll let an expert tell us why it doesn't matter. To Heather Barnhart joining us, digital forensics expert with Celebrite. We learned all about Celebrite during the Alex Murdaugh trial. That's how we got everything off of his dead, murdered son's phone. And the SANS Institute, SANS. She is one of the preeminent digital forensic experts in the country. She helped crack the Brian Kohberger case, and she is co-author of Practical Mobile Forensics, now in its 4th edition. That means that many people have used it. Heather, thank you for being with us. If the phone, I don't care where it is. Okay, actually, I do care where it is. I want to know that it's been handed over.
Yes,
I don't have to have the phone
free
to know what's on the phone if it's in the
Miss
cloud.
Jackson.
It looks like an iPhone to me. So my argument with Officer Tatum is academic. It doesn't matter if I can get it from the cloud. So Nolan's phone missing. So what? I can download it. I can get it.
Data will exist in the cloud if he's syncing to iCloud and third-party applications. However, having physical access to the phone is where the databases exist that will have the truth on deletion. So you really need to get a full file system extraction of his phone as quickly as possible. So if it's not handed over to authorities now, it needs to be, because this was over a month ago now.
Do you have to have the phone to do the extraction? What about the cloud?
Cloud data is different, and there's a lot of information there. There could be unique information in the cloud that's been removed from the phone, if anything was removed, but it's best to have both cloud and the phone to paint the entire pattern of behavior and to see the truth.
Heather Barnhart, please don't move. Back to Officer Tatum joining us. Tatum, obviously, we want the phone. I think you can download it from the cloud, but she's the expert. She's saying it would help to have the phone. So don't you understand why? And I'm not saying this is true. I don't know that it's true. I don't know that that CTO call is real or fake. I don't know. It's murky. You know, Tatum, when I would try cases, especially complicated cases, I would start out the trial with a big jar full of water and silt. And I had it sitting big on my counsel table day one, right beside my Bible. And in closing arguments, the first thing I would do when I started closing arguments, I'd take that jar and shake it, and it would get very murky. You couldn't see anything. And I'd sit it down on my counsel table, and argument would commence. And by the time I had gone through all the evidence, I'd go over to my table, pick it up, and say, see, it's not muddy anymore. It's crystal clear what happened. My point is, we don't know. So all the haters attacking you, attacking me, attacking the cops, attacking...
Oh, we don't care about them attacking him, Nancy. We don't care, Nancy. We don't care about them attacking him. And you know you don't care neither. Okay? Now, we know that, you know, you have been putting shit on the floor. I ain't attacking you. You know, I think you do good commentary. You know, but we don't care about anyone attacking him. Okay? Because he started out doing this the wrong way. If he would have started out doing this as a professional and stayed professional with this, maybe a lot of people through these streets, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they won't feel the way he feels. He came out and started this messy shit. And he started off messy. That's why we don't care how he feels. He don't fuck his feelings.
Friends attacking Nolan's mother, for Pete's sake. We don't know. It's unjustified. Now, to my question. Don't you understand why people are suspicious? Because Nolan's separated from his phone, which no teen does.
We quilt this city.
I get it. Why he didn't have it in the water. I get that. I dive, I swim. I just went swimming with the dolphins with my twins. And yes, my phone was on the boat. But then I got it. I didn't let the boat take off without it. So at least you can admit that's why people are curious. I'm curious.
Nancy, I think it's because people are out putting out misinformation and they don't have the totality of circumstances because they haven't heard from the boys, didn't watch the interview and all of this stuff, and they feel that it's convoluted. It's very straightforward to me and very clear in many areas that the boys are saying they did not have access. Christine, Nolan's mother, is not saying unequivocally that things were deleted. She was surprised that things were not present. Therefore, she insinuated that things may have been deleted. But she did not really say that the phone was deleted. And the fact that they did not communicate with both sides, meaning that I wish that the Nolan Wells family would have communicated with these boys instead of me, would have talked to their lawyers instead of me, then therefore they could have gotten a good perspective. The boys made mention in the interview that I did with them that they told Christine, Nolan's mother, that they had his phone and his keys in their possession. Therefore, she came to get them. They turned them over. They have no access to his codes. They have no reason to delete his phone. They're claiming there's nothing that was deleted. They gave a fair explanation as to why he left the phone on the boat. Nolan wasn't the only individual to leave the phone on the boat. He wasn't the only black person to leave the phone on the boat. So
why black got anything to do with it? Don't put black in it. Just say he was the only person to leave the phone on the boat, far as you know, because you don't know that. Okay? You only going by what those boys is telling you. Just like Christine is going by what she was told. Nobody knows the truth about nothing. You don't know the fucking truth. You sitting up here with that big potato head and act like you know the damn truth. You don't know the truth. Those boys could be sitting right in front of your face and lying to you like hell. You don't know that.
to me, dispels the racial component. He was with them. Multiple boats came out. Traditionally, if you don't leave on a boat you came on, you can leave on another boat. They're all going to the same location. So it's not that bizarre that he left his phone. The phone was returned to Nolan. These are best friends of Nolan. They hang out almost every day.
Hold on just a sec.
He spent the night over their house.
Everything you're saying, but now we're getting to another topic. I hear you, but Tatum, the boat, has the boat been searched by cadaver dogs and scent dogs?
The boat, from my understanding, has not been searched, and the cadaver dogs were made available for Benjamin Crump to utilize them to do a search on the boat. They refused.
Crump is not supposed to use the dogs.
There is no reason to search
everything on Crump.
Listen, Nancy, there's no
Exactly. He don't own that boat. He's not law enforcement. He can't tell somebody to go check somebody else's boat. Now, if he was law enforcement and can get a warrant and say, go take the dogs to search that boat, he can. He can't do that. He have no access to that. And Nancy is right. Why are you blaming everything on Ben Crump? Because we know you don't like him. We know that. We see that, obviously, that, smart people can see that.
No reason. If there's not any evidence of a murder, there's no reason for them to use the cadaver dog. That's how this works.
True.
There's none of these individuals they do not have any expectation that there was any murder that occurred. It's just other people are putting that out to the world. The police department is not investigating the murder. These boys are not suspects.
I agree they're not suspects. They're not persons of interest. They're not suspects. They haven't been charged. But
to believe after interviewing 60 people that he was ever on the boat.
The search of the Triton,
it's not
his boat.
Ordering it. He's not ordering it. The cadaver dogs were made available if he wanted to. No, they availed themselves to him and said, would you like us to search the boat for you?
You just said that about Nolan Wells' mom. You said, I almost hate to do this to you. Almost. Tatum, you just said when Crump says we're available and ready, you went, well, that's no, they haven't handed over the boat. But now you're saying the friends say our boat's available and ready. And I'm not going to tear you a new one because the law enforcement is the one that needs to go and search the boat.
Nancy,
it ain't rocket science.
The people who had the people who had questions about this, because it's definitely not law enforcement. It was Benjamin Crump. They wanted to get to the bottom. They don't trust law enforcement.
There's not a grand jury? This isn't going to grand jury?
I'm saying initially before grand jury.
Because if it's going to grand jury, then there are questions.
Initially before grand jury, when this first started, and Benjamin Crump brought up all these questions, and they availed themselves to him and said, would you like for us to search the boat? We'll grant the cadaver dogs for you to go and look at the boat. And he refused. And this is why I'm saying he did.
And he don't have to. And I don't blame him. They probably would have lied on the man, called the police on the man, got the man arrested. He did the right thing. He's a lawyer. So no, I wouldn't have went and look at the boat. And the cadaver dogs ain't asked him to do none of that. They just said they'll provide him. And they will go look at the boat. But who is Ben Crump to send somebody to somebody's house? You think you know everything, Mr. Potato Head.
Does not appear.
Give authority to search the boat.
Right.
He can. The boys are cooperating.
I want you to run over to Tatum's house and sniff the hell out of it because it's
I would
your
say,
house.
come on over. I would say, no. I said, come on over. The cadaver dogs are made available, but then Benjamin Crump said, well, we don't want it. That's the problem here.
Wait a minute.
They are not pursuing like they claim they are.
Say, here's our boat. Come search it.
No.
Did the families offer the boat?
They offered boat, phones, whatever investigators needed, whatever the family needed, they made it available. The family did not pursue any avenue to connect with the boys on any level. The boat, to talk about timeline, to communicate with parents, to communicate with lawyers. They have done nothing. And then now we find out that they haven't even given the phone over to law enforcement so they can do an extraction or forensic investigation.
Well, stop.
That they can see.
You know what? I respect you, but I'm going to have to cut your mic because we have to be clear about something. Hold on. Philip Dubé joining me. He is a veteran trial lawyer, a defense lawyer. He's joining me out of LA. He practices criminal and constitutional law. Dubé, I don't want to hear either a prosecution or a defense side. A citizen cannot force a search on somebody else's boat.
Exactly.
So Crump or Mrs. or Nolan's mother, they cannot force a cadaver dog or a scent dog search on the Triton. Law enforcement needs to bring out a cadaver dog and a scent dog. It's just real simple. It's not hard. Do you agree? They are the ones with authority to do that.
Of course, a lot of these thought leaders and crusaders, the thought leaders and the crusaders can all request it and make sure that there's an in-depth, thorough investigation, but they cannot physically and personally initiate it or enforce all the procedures that are necessary to get that underway. One thing
Okay,
they
y'all, we're
can
gonna
do,
stop
though,
this.
is
I
go
gotta
to the
go over here and
DA's
see what's
office.
going on with this interview. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I gotta be nosy. I gotta go over here. Hold on. We'll come back to Nancy if I have time. Let me just see what's going on over here.
And I had a very negative connotation. I didn't like police officers.
Miss Griffin,
First
let me
time I
know,
got
is it
interaction
right
with a
here
police
or
officer, I
how
was
far do I
8.
gotta
got
go?
arrested for smoking weed in a vacant house with my cousins. And
As an 8-year-old?
8-year-old. Yeah. I stopped smoking weed when I was 8.
Oh, I think I got it.
But
What year? Whoa. When did you start?
Probably around when I was 6, 7, smoking weed with my cousins.
All right.
And
all right, so you stop at 8. Okay.
Because I got arrested. We went to juvenile. We didn't spend a lot of time in there, but we ended up getting arrested. Went to juvenile detention. We stayed there for the majority of the day. My daddy came in there like he was in the WWE, saying he's gonna kill us and everything, and that changed my life. It's a whole story around that because Anyway, moving forward. So I grew up with that perspective, and when I left high school, went to college, I had an opportunity to be around white people in real life. And I realized,
Yeah, we see that.
wait a minute, I don't think white people are as racist or as punitive towards black people. It appears to me when I was in college, they didn't even care. It was a non-starter of racism when I went to the University of Arizona. It was nothing there. And so I began to realize, whoa, the world is bigger. Things are much different. I've been in an isolated box being taught something that I think is not really reality. And I got saved, and then I quit worrying about race. Race became irrelevant when I got saved. When I gave my life to Christ, I don't only look at people based on the color of their skin. I look at people based on their character. I look at people based on who they are, who they present themselves to be. I believe that we're all God's children, and that the color of your skin is irrelevant. And so moving from that point, I get to policing, and then a lot of times the guys that on the police department, they challenge me. They like, hey, do you believe in that? I'm like, no, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in this LGBTQ movement. I don't mind people doing what they want to do with their own time with who they love, but the movement, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with pushing it on people, different things like that. I believe in lower taxes. I believe in, that we were founded on Judeo-Christian values in this nation, and that we are a Christian nation that's very tolerable to other religions and perspectives, but we are a Christian nation. All of our founders were believers. Most of our founders were avid believers. Most of our early scientists were believers. So I understood the perspective. I studied Africana studies in college, Black history.
Was that your major?
That was my minor. I had a thematic minor. So I was studying Africana studies as my minor, but I happened to need 2 classes. So I had to throw sign language in another class in and create a thematic minor. So
Gotcha.
my minor ended up being thematic, but majority of my minor was Africana studies.
And where'd you go to college?
University of Arizona.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I hope I'm not getting off topic. That's kind of where it led.
No.
And being challenged on the police department by some of my friends, and I'm like, I don't believe in that. They're like, well, that's what the Democrats believe. And then for the first time in my life, I actually look at what the Republicans believe, because I never even considered them. They were racist white people to me. Then I started looking at the platform. I went to a Trump rally, and not because I supported him, because I wanted to hear what he had to say. I really supported Ben Carson And then I realized I do agree with these things. I do agree.
Right.
I love my country and all these other things. And I'm like, I believe I'm more Republican.
Got you. And so before that, you were just Democrat by default. This is what I grew up around.
Yeah.
I didn't really explore anything else. I was just birthed into this. Here I am
Yeah.
as a Democrat.
Yep.
Okay. So recently I've become aware of your work. And I wasn't really aware of you up until recently, and have been following you and paying attention to some of the things you've been saying, posting, et cetera, et cetera. And there are a few questions that I'd like to ask you about some of the messages you have. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I do not agree with a lot of the things that you say. But in my opinion, that's perfectly fine. People can disagree. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you'd like to have. I'm allowed to have whatever opinion I'd like to have. But I'm a psychotherapist, and I've been a psychotherapist for 20 years. So I hear things through a very particular lens as a result of being a psychotherapist and the experiences I've had through those 20 years. And that has led me to want to ask you a few questions about some of this content. Are you okay with that?
100%.
Okay. Because one of the things I'd like to start with, are you familiar with the term naive reality?
I can deduce what it means, but I'm not familiar with that specific term scientifically.
Well, so I want to use the term clinically. Like some of the terms that we use, I want to use the term clinically, and it's the psychological phenomenon when people believe their own perception of reality is the only objective one. So when I watch you, and particularly on like the Jubilee interview, for example, and someone gives you data, you often respond with your own subjective reality. And it made me want to ask you, what do you think of the idea of naive reality, of the idea of the concept naive reality? Now, naive reality, I don't mean to call you naive. Like, that's why I want to be clear. I'm using the clinical label. Like, that's the word that we use.
Yeah, I get it. I don't agree that I live in that reality. I think I'm pretty practical. When someone's giving me statistical data points that's unverified, I can't just run with it just because they said it. And if you look at some of the Jubilee footage, people were claiming all kind of things and they got fact checked and they were wrong. Some of the things that they said about Booker T. Washington, the guy who said he was an educator, and it lied about, flat out lied or had not necessarily mixed up statements from Booker T. Washington book Up from Slavery. And then he goes and says it, and I can't go and verify it on the spot. And when others bring up statistical data points from studies that I haven't been able to verify, it's impossible for me to go and make an argument about something that's unverifiable. And I think that you would know in any argument that you would make or any discussion that you would have, if I come up and give something that you can't validate or verify, you either concede to it or you say, look, I object to the premise. I have education that leads me to believe certain things that's counter to things that was presented during the show, and I expressed that. I don't think that my reality is the only reality. I know a lot of people. I got a lot of friends that don't agree with me. People forget.
One of my favorite baby products that saved her sensitive skin. Tubby Todd's All Over Ointment. It's pediatrician and dermatologist tested. It's free of parabens and steroids, so feel
on certain things. I don't think my dad agreed with some of the things that I say. I think he agreed with most of it, but we have spirited discussions on this. I don't live in an echo chamber where I'm the only one that has have a reality that everybody has to bow down to. And so I just disagree. And I think it's fine for us to disagree. The problem that I do have is when people say that somehow I'm not black because we have a difference of agreement, or somehow I can't handle the truth, or I hate my own skin. I'm gonna sell out Uncle Tom bootlicker because I have a difference of opinion. In reality, a lot of black people have a difference of opinion. We're not all monolithic in our thought process. I think Thomas Sowell has a very different perspective than other economists who are black. We go down the list, our current, and I would say one of the most honorable Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, I bet him and Thurgood Marshall have a difference of opinion. I don't think either one of them are invalidated because of their opinions. And so that's the point that I have contention with. A lot of things that I said on there was based on evidence, based on research, and based on my own lived experience.
So You said earlier that when someone presents you with data that you can't verify, it's hard to argue with. Correct? Did I catch that right?
It's not fair to make a debate argument on unverified data because you're arguing from a false premise. So I can't concede to something that, and I haven't verified, because people do lie and people do tell half truths, and I haven't had a chance to evaluate the study. Right? If you gave me a study and I haven't been able to look at it or verify it, how then will I give you a fair enough argument in return? So I don't want to argue something that I haven't been able to verify. And most of those individuals were just making up stuff.
So how would you be able to determine if someone is somebody that you could listen to versus not? Like, for example, I'm a very credible psychotherapist. I've been trained. I've been doing this a long time. So if I said something, and I'll just give you an irrelevant point that will be accurate, but a relevant point. If I said to you, the counseling field was created in Boston, Massachusetts, by a group of individuals that wanted to help people find job placements. That's a fact. I'm going to guess you didn't know that because you're not a trained psychotherapist. Like, at what point do you say, I can listen to that data point, even though that's the first person I've heard say that data point? I don't have to go fact check it. I can listen to that data point.
Yeah. So just when it comes to you, I think you may be credible, but I think you are biased. And the reason I say that is because of some of the critiques you've had of me in previous videos. Without even meeting me or knowing me or interviewing me, you made some suggestions about who I was, and I thought it was unfair. However, if you make a statement of fact, I don't have a reason to believe that it's different because I don't have any basis to argue it. Like, for instance, you gave me that statistical data point, or not data point, but you gave me that factual reality. I have not read or heard or have any reason to doubt what you said. Now, if you said that counseling and therapy was generated to make sure Black people would never make it in life, then we're going to have an argument about it, or a conversation about it, because that does not seem to be practical in reality. And I've never heard it, and I've never heard anybody argue that. So I may push back on it. That doesn't mean that you can't prove me wrong. It's just that some things I may push back if it sounds nonsensical or not rooted in reality.
But see, that's where I think the term naive reality fits here, because I might say something like, and I'll go with your example. I might say the field of therapy and counseling was created to hold Black people back. And you might say, that seems nonsensical to me, without acknowledging my expertise for being in that space.
Well,
like, I am in a position to say that as a fact, even if it seems contrarian to what you would have thought.
Well, Elliot, think about this. I'm a former police officer. I did the job for many years. I'm very proficient at what I did. Many commendations.
And we know a lot of police officers are narcissists. We know a lot of people that's, like MT workers, they're narcissists, police officers, judges. We know they're narcissists. And if they're not, some of them have the behavior of a narcissist, right? Yeah, it does. We know that. And I know that from experience. That's why I can see right through you. Right through you. I can see right through you from day one. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can go down, so on and so forth. You can ask anybody ever worked with me. I was a very good police officer. Just because I'm a police officer don't mean that everything I say.
No, you're not a police officer now. You're an ex.
Correct. It doesn't mean that that you have to accept it as being correct. Maybe I'm wrong about.
I think he still want to be a police officer, y'all. Stop going around saying you're a police officer now, because you can get locked up for that. Going out here, promoting yourself as a police officer, and you're not. Because sometimes narcissistic people, they do want to be something that they can't be anymore, that they used to be. And some of them want to be something that they want to be that they never could be, So, yeah.
Some things I'm open to that, but just because I have credentials in the field, it doesn't mean that you have to concede to everything that I say. And so I think that if I say something to you that you think is invalid, or you don't think is rooted in factual reality, or that you have contrary facts, it's okay to challenge me on it. And I don't think that you should just go off of everything I say at face value, and I'm not going to go off everything.
Yeah, he can't let go. Any police officers I know, they did 25 years, 30 years and better. They retire with retirement and pension, and all that good shit. I never seen a police officer, leave a force for 6 years unless something went wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, y'all.
You say with face value, if it contradicts what my lived experiences are and my research have shown, and then we have a debate on that. Like when it comes to policing in America, I mean, there's Harvard research that have been done that determined very clearly by a black man who is now alienated. I forget his name. We can look it up. But, he made a very distinct finding that there is no bias in policing against black people disproportionately. And that person was shunned. He was Harvard educated, one of the most intelligent young men that is not even a conservative. And when he makes statements like that, coupled with my lived experience as a police officer, I begin to realize, well, maybe, just maybe, people are projecting a reality on law enforcement that's not necessarily true because of their own biases. So you have statistical data and research that contradicts some of the research that the gentleman presented to me on Jubilee.
See, some people, they still use their title when they're no longer at that job anymore because they still want power and they still want control and they still want to look up as the person that they was that they no longer are. Let me just tell y'all the truth, okay? Because I know y'all be like, yeah, well, okay, so let me just tell y'all the truth, okay? I know a lot about narcissists, y'all. I have a certificate in it. I took classes for it after my narcissistic abuse for years. Okay, and that's what I decided to do. I also wrote a book. I also built my platform off of that. Okay, so that's why I know them oh so well. Oh so well. I know them. I can spot them head on. I did a lot of counseling behind the scenes to a lot of people that even had narcissistic children. Okay, so I just want to give y'all a little background. Okay, I used to set appointments up, talk to people. A lot of my old supporters, I did that. So that's why I can spot them head on. Now the other part, I leave out. That's why I can peep him so good. So good.
I think his name was Ronald Fryer. I think it's Ronald Fryer. I think his name is. But anyway, people can look that up if they want.
But see, that's the interesting thing, which is why I'm so interested in talking to you about these points, because when you say those kinds of things, like there's a Harvard researcher that says X, Y, or Z. I'm going to be very honest with you. I did a year, because you're familiar with this area. I did a year working with and training and riding out with the Arlington Police Department as a clinician, teaching them how to talk to, you're probably familiar with the Victims Assistance Unit. So teaching them how to talk to victims of violence crime. I did all of those experiences. I'm very aware with certain research, and I'm very aware with police biases. If I present information to you, there's something about you that holds on to your already held idea.
Not really. I mean, let's do it. We'll do a point now. I mean, what did you observe when you were on the ride along? Did you observe racial biases? That
not only did I observe it, but the police. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the Arlington Police Department was the Arlington Police Department is one of the only police departments in the state of Texas. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I believe there were three at the time. I don't know what there is now, but it's one of the only police departments.
I don't know,
in this area
Rebecca.
that
I don't know what
required
happened.
A bachelor's degree. So we would have very, very intellectual conversations. And not only did I observe it, I observed police officers calling each other out on it, and I observed police officers acknowledging it and addressing it.
And acknowledging racial bias in policing?
100%. Yes.
And can you give me an example of when you were on a ride along that this occurred? And what was the scenario?
I can absolutely give you an example. Are you familiar with
also I would love for you to do this, and we can do it offline. If you can give me the police officer that you rode along with, because I would love to communicate with that person.
No, don't do it.
I've never had a conversation with a cop that have made me.
That's what they do, y'all. That's what narcissists do. We studied this in class, right? They love to get connected with people you know, right? They want to get connected with people you know, because after that, they want to stay connected with them. And what's going to happen, they're going to start spinning the narrative, telling the next person, you put them down, you said this, you said that. I don't think that's a good person. You know, I had an interview with them, I had a talk with them, and he said this and he said that. That's why I said don't do it. I'm telling y'all, I know him. I know him like a book. I'm telling you, this would not be a good idea if he do that. I'm not saying it won't be a good idea.
Mention of some of that he witnessed or was involved in racial bias on the police department while having a ride along. But
no. Okay, before I do that, I want to say clinically, you're doing the thing that we would judge clinically that I'm talking about right now. This thing that we're talking about, this night. Hold on, I'm gonna
present it to me. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
No, I got you. I'm gonna explain exactly what I mean in a minute. Like that's why I'm happy to do this.
But Elliot, is it unfair for me to say I have never heard of this? Can you please get?
You don't have to hear of it. It's not for you. Maybe he heard of it, but you don't have to. You can't say every police officer in every state have not rolled with a cop that they thought was racist. You can't get mad at his opinion or how he felt or what he's seen.
Give me the example that you presented. I never said you were wrong. I just said I want to hear the example.
I'm going to explain the concept, and then I'm going to 100% respond to your question.
Okay.
Because the concept, right? This idea that we're talking about here, this like reality thing, this naive reality, it's usually held by people that are in authoritarian positions, that their identity is attached to their position, and they're getting social rewards for holding that position. When that happens, hold on, I'm going to make this point, and then we're going to respond to you. When that happens, your brain, not you, Brandon, but like the human brain, experiences a threat. They experience like the conflict to my previously held idea, not as a new idea. They experience that new idea as an existential threat. Because if I accept that thing to be true, then a lot of my other arguments fall apart.
But Elliot, can I interject? I think you're alluding that this is me. I don't have an attachment. I'm not a police officer anymore.
No,
I'm an entrepreneur. So I don't have an attachment. If a cop is wrong, they wrong. It doesn't hurt me if a cop is wrong and go to jail for racial biases. Me and you can go to the police department together and let's fight against racist cops doing things they ain't supposed to do. I'm with you on that, brother. We can do it together. So
I would gladly march into any police department you wanted to and hold them accountable. I'm not saying
this cop that you had the experience with needs to be held accountable.
I'm going to get to that in a second. But what you're not doing, which in my opinion clinically fits with this idea of naive reality.
And people with behavior like his, y'all, they never let people get through talking. They like to talk over them. If they feel like that you are talking and trying to come at them, they're going to cut you off. They do all of that. They do all of that to you.
Is you are saying things like, I've been a cop for 6 years or however many years you said. I've been a cop for several years, whatever it was. I have never seen or heard about racial bias showing up in policing. When there is a significant documented
what you're
history
saying,
of this.
I'm telling you what my experience is, and you said you have an example of this. I just want you to present the example to me. I'm not saying that it don't exist. I told you what my experiences are, and you have an experience different than mine, and I'm asking you to present the experience to me so I can learn.
So I'm going to present the experience, and then I want to see what happens to your ability to digest this reality.
Okay.
Are you familiar? So I remember one of the officers' name, actually, even though this was like 20, this was the very beginning of my career. This was about 20 years ago. But I remember one of the officers' names because he ended up getting very famous doing something else. So are you familiar with the name? No. Are you familiar with the name Ronnie Coleman?
Yeah, Ronnie Coleman, bodybuilder. The greatest bodybuilder.
The greatest bodybuilder of all time. I'm familiar with him as a bodybuilder but I met him as a police officer. Did you know he was a police officer at the Arlington
Yes.
Police Department?
Yes.
I was doing a ride along with a veteran police officer, and we had to go. So my job was to go with the police on scene when there was a violent potential crime. It was a violent crime scene anywhere. And most people don't know this, so I'll go ahead and say this. About 90 to 95% of police calls are domestic violence. So it was just constant violent domestic violence. This one particular call was somebody took their life. And we had to go talk to the people that were in the setting where it happened. I was with a veteran police officer, white guy, when we went out and did it. When we got onto the scene, there was a newer rookie white guy, police officer, that was talking very, very aggressively and disrespectfully to kids in the area who happened to be all black.
Well, wait a minute. Do you think that he was talking to them because they were black, or they just happened to be black?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
When we showed up, the veteran white police officer and myself showed up. He reprimanded this officer and talked to him about, you were only talking to those kids in that way due to your own biases, and they had a lengthy conversation about it. The very next day, when they had the roll call at the police department, they involved Ronnie Coleman. Those of you who might be listening who don't know Ronnie Coleman is black. They involved Ronnie Coleman, and they all had a conversation with this officer, who then acknowledged that his previous experiences have caused a bias that led to him conversating with those kids in that way. So that is a clear, concrete example where it happened. The very thing you're saying doesn't happen.
No,
happened.
I didn't say it does not happen. I said I have never had the experience with somebody telling me that or experiencing it myself. It can happen. Now, here's the thing. This would probably shock your mind. I don't think that policing is without fault. I know that there's people who are on the police department that are racist. I've never experienced it. I know there's people who are insensitive to race. I know that there's people who are dirtbags. I work with some of them that were dirtbags and they got fired, and nobody hates them more than other police officers. So I'm not here telling you that there's no such thing as racism. I'm just saying it's so infrequent that I have never experienced it. But you have your experiences. He was reprimanded by another white officer, and his behavior changed. So what that tells me,
I didn't say his behavior changed. I did not say his behavior changed.
Well, if his behavior didn't change, then he shouldn't be a police officer anymore, correct?
He might not be.
Well, we need to find out, because if somehow he was, here's the thing that I think is pertinent to digest as well, is a person can have an opinion about the way you treat another person and project that it's race related, and when it's not. He said that he felt his previous behaviors were wrong in the way he treated the young people, correct? When Ronnie Coleman showed up to the meeting. So that means that he acknowledged he was wrong. The other officer called him out when he saw it happen. That means that if his behavior continues that way, he should not be a police officer anymore.
I agree with you.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is cooked to order to perfection.
Hold on.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Real time, meaning that
correct
unchecked behavior is not something that's prevalent. If most officers do not partake in racial biases towards people, it makes officers sick to their stomach, and they hate it with a passion. So therefore, when you see another officer do something incorrect to people in the community, they will get on there fast, and it happens. What I'm telling you is that you can say that there's things that occur. I agree with you, but that you just showed me an example of how most officers are unaccepting to stuff like that. Racial bias in policing is unacceptable to most officers.
Okay, I want to be very, very clear about this point. After I presented you a concrete example, you softened your position, which is fine.
I didn't soften my position. I never had a position that somehow
you literally
were wrong.
said, okay, fine. We can go back and watch the replay. But my follow-up question to this is, I am one person with my own subjective experience. You asked me to give you a concrete example. I gave you one. You have your own subjective experience where you're saying, I was a police officer for this amount of time. I never saw it. And then you're making a very bold claim saying, I think most officers are disgusted by this, and most officers are good officers. Like, what would someone have to present to you to say, wow, racial bias in policing is actually a bigger issue than I previously thought? Because there is data to that end.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying that racial bias is not in policing. We've already established
I said
that.
a major problem.
No, when you say major, to me, that means that a person that have served in the police department, you've done a few ride-alongs, I've done thousands because I was a cop in the car. I dealt with people on a daily basis. I'm talking about hundreds of arrests, thousands of traffic stops, and you name it. I've had so much experience, and I know a lot of officers. And I'm telling you that with my experience personally, plus officers that I've talked to, it does not appear that racial bias is prevalent. You, as a clinician, just gave an example, and the example you chose was that you encountered a rookie officer who doesn't have a lot of experience getting chastised by another officer who were both white because he was inappropriate in the way he treated young black men or young black kids on a call. So I'm telling you my experience, and even in your experience, it validates what I'm saying. It's so not prevalent that you can't even witness it happen without somebody checking them over it.
Exactly.
That's not what I said. You asked me for an example. I gave you an example.
But the example you gave me was...
See, let's remember, y'all, narcissist knows who to fuck with and who not. Okay? Now, remember one thing. They will try you. They will try you. And that is their game to size you up. That's why some of them like having conversations with you. You got to see how smart you are, how educated you are, how far you will let them go with them, and all of that. So they do. I told y'all I'm good in this now. I told y'all. I took classes with it. I got my certificate in it. I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling y'all. Yeah, they size you up. And he did that to Nancy already. So he know he can't do that with Nancy. And this is why, y'all, he can't get over with the other lady, this Miss Spicy, because y'all know I call her Miss Spicy. That's why he don't want to have no sit-down interview with her, because he don't want no confrontation with people like that. Anybody he know that's going to ride and bring him where he needs to be, he's not going to have a conversation with them. He will not. And that's anybody that have this type of behavior. They're not going to do it.
To me, I'm assuming that you would give me a pretty prominent, egregious example, but even an example that you gave me, you're alluding to the fact that he was chastised by another senior officer who was white, not a black man.
He was called out for sure. He was called out by a white man.
And that's why I'm saying most cops are not in the business of being racist. And when we see our officers doing things they shouldn't do, majority of the cops will call people out on this. It's not acceptable in policing for you to be racist towards people.
Now, you need to stop lying. I'm going to check you on that. That is not true. That is not true. That is a lie. Sorry to tell you, but that's a lie.
It's not acceptable. Now, there are people that do it, but that's not acceptable. It's not like your chief is going to watch you do something racist and go, yeah, that's totally fine. No, the community is not accepting it. Other black officers won't accept it, and good white officers will not accept it in policing. So it's rare.
But here's my statement. It's according to data, according to research, it's not rare. I can give
research that I just explained to you from Fryer, from Harvard, a Harvard professor who did a research document and posted that his findings, and they didn't even want him to present his findings, and they hated him over it, that his findings were that there is no biases when you look at the numbers against blacks in policing.
I'm going to post, when we post this video, I'm going to post more research. And my question to you is, will you observe and attend to research that is not a part of your or my subjective experience?
100%. I wrote a book on this stuff. Let me give you a couple examples. Do you think that...
No.
Wait. Okay.
I want to hear your example. I mean, I want to hear your response clearly. Will you accept data that is beyond just subjective experience and is developed by people that research this?
I just told you that the Harvard professor had his data. I accept all data.
Okay,
but I'm articulating to you that there's counter data to saying that there's implicit bias in policing to a large degree, racism against blacks. I just showed you there's counter data. I accept everybody's data.
But why
as
are you
them-
giving more weight? Why are you giving this?
Because
This speaks to the very bias I'm talking about. You're giving more weight to this
I'm
one
giving-
study
right.
versus the contrarian idea.
No. There's a study, right, that I observed. There's two studies. There's the pro and against. And then I have to go off my own experience. So
No,
based on
that's not how learning happens.
No. If you got a study, right, you have a study. Just give both of them credit to say they both are correct.
I know that chat over there probably eating his
Subjectively.
ass up.
They both have a
I
subjective
can't look at it
perspective
from
here.
my own chat.
Both of them are correct. Now, I can't. How am I going to choose who's right and who's wrong in this? It has to go down to what are my experiences, and does my experiences as a law enforcement officer and all of the officers that I know.
Rebecca, the reason why he can't shut up and let him talk because that's how they are. Those type of people don't want you to get ahead of them, right? So anything that you say and if they thinking that you're trying to come at them and you're talking about them, they want to be the first to explore themselves, to make themselves feel good. They want to feel validated. They want to feel like they know everything. You know, oh, I got a degree in this. I got a degree in that. I know this. They want to think they know more than you. You know, that's how these kinds of people are. That's how they are. They operate like that. They never going to let you get a word in. Especially if they think they got a little power. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he was on Nancy's show, he wouldn't be doing all this because Nancy shut him down. He know he have no power and control over Nancy whatsoever. None. Period. None.
Match one of these experiences.
That's not accurate.
Not unless you're saying one is right and one is wrong.
That is not accurate.
Are you saying that the Harvard study is wrong?
That is not what I'm saying.
Okay, then we're assuming, I'm conceding that both of them are subjectively correct.
Yes,
and whatever
Andy.
research they...
Girl,
you gotta let
say
me
it
explain
again.
how research is consumed. Research is absolutely not one is right and one is wrong. That's not how research is consumed.
Exactly. Subjective, because they have subjective truths.
No, let me explain, because I'm trying to explain to you how research is consumed.
And they want you to believe everything they say. If you start to interviewing them, talking to them, and you do not believe what they believe in, it's going to be a problem. And this is why he's not letting this guy talk, because he see now that this guy is not going to agree with what he want him to agree with. So, excuse me. So that's why you see a lot of cutoffs here. That's why you see. That's what those people do to you.
Because it's not a matter of one research study being right and one research study being wrong. There are many factors in the research study, meaning what kind of study was it? Was it a double-blind research study, which is the gold standard? Was it a meta-analysis, which compares all kinds of research? How many subjects were in that research? Research is weighted, so it's not just like one is right and one is wrong.
No.
You can absolutely have two
that.
studies saying contrarian things, but one of them did far more rigorous things to get their response, and that matters.
Yeah, but you can also, and I agree with you, research can be wrong too. People can have malicious reasons to do research and have imperfect findings because they've intended it to be that way. I'm conceding to the fact that both of these research data points are objectively in good faith presented to the public. What I'm telling you is that you asked me, why do I lean more towards one than the other? I'm conceding that they both are fair, but then I have to go off of my lived experience. Let me give you an example. If you've been a clinician doing your job for 20 plus years, you have a study that says that Black people are not treated poorly whatsoever in your field, and you have one that says Black people are treated imperfectly all the time, more consistently. You give them both fair weight as if these are good faith attempts to present information. You have to then rely on your personal experience to say
that is. You keep saying that. That is not
weighs
accurate.
more. I mean, I think that's the way people. You can't like.
Well,
for
I'm going
instance,
to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
For instance, I have never experienced racial encounters on the police department ever by any of the officers. Most of the officers that I know that work in primarily Black neighborhoods on the Georgia police officers. I mean, I actually mentored one of them. They're saying the same thing. That dude, majority of our encounters are not racist encounters. My white colleagues are not racist against Black people. It's a rare thing to happen. So all of the people I know, all of the experience I have, when I look at the two data points, objectively, I'm saying that I believe in the Harvard study, a professor who did an incredible study, who balanced and weighed all of the data. I'm saying that I lean more towards believing what he's saying because that's also my experience.
Due to time, I have one more question I'm going to ask you, so we're going to move on to a different subject. But I am going to make this point about research. I am a consumer and producer of research. My entire field is based upon evidence-based research. I have to read it constantly to do my work. So if I read a study that says something like a particular therapeutic intervention is useful, and then another study that says that same particular therapeutic intervention is not useful, you are making the argument that I have to go on my own lived experience. But that is not true. Hold on, I'm making a point, and then we're moving on to the next topic. You're making the argument that now I have two contrarian but credible research studies saying different things. So now I have to rely on my own personal experience. And the truth is, I have to go into the study and say, how many subjects did they have?
We're not to that point. I'm not saying an illegitimate study. I'm saying two legitimate studies from different perspectives.
I'm saying legitimate studies still have different levels. You know what a power ranking is?
Miss Griffin, that's how they think. They only think they can only be right. They think that their opinion, the only opinions that matter. They think that everything revolves around them. If it's not about them, they get upset. They may not want to talk to you no more. They may start smear campaigning you. They start doing all type of shit to you. They may start turning other people against you, your own family against you, your friends that you work with. That's what they do. Everything he's doing here, I have seen it before, and even worse. Okay? Nothing he's doing here surprises me. Because I told y'all from day one when he started covering this case, I sat back, because one thing that what I do, I study body language, right? I study people when they start talking, their conversations, you know. I do all of that when I pick up cases. And when I start to, seeing how people, was talking about him, I'm like, wait, he kind of a little off to me. Yeah, I was studying his behavior.
Yes, legitimate studies have power rankings. So
yes,
know,
but you do not know if the study that I'm referring to, the Harvard study,
very self-centered.
is more powerful or less powerful than the one that you presented. So what I'm saying is, let's just give both.
So
of them
you don't know
weight.
that the study, you don't. But that's not how that works. You don't know. You don't
You
know
are
the other studies.
Well,
let's either.
Let's do this. Let's both evaluate both of them. Then we'll come back and say which one is imperfect. 100%. But this is what I'm saying. You can say
it's not about imperfect. It's about who was more rigorous in their study.
If a person say that you're interviewing a person in this environment, it's not conducive for the best interview for therapists, and you're saying, and another study says, no, you can't interview a person in this environment. And you go, well, I get what they're both are saying. They both have credible research that they've done. But my experience is that when I interview people in this environment, I get good results. Like when people say, should you medicate a person with Percocet or should you medicate a person with this? There's holistic approaches and then there's medical approaches. At some point, you have to say, based on my information that I have derived from doing this for 20 years, this works, although this study is claiming that it does not work. That's a fair assessment.
That is not a fair assessment. You are using the word objective, but then demonstrating bias.
You have people that say that if a person can do a research on this, you can have a person that says you handcuff this way, which is the most appropriate way to handcuff without violence. You have another person that say, no, that's not the way that you handcuff. You can handcuff this other way. You can be subjective in the way you think handcuffing should be done in order to be the most efficient and proficient in what you do. Both could be accurate, but other people can prefer to do a certain act because they've done it for 20 years and it works.
So I want to move on to the next topic due to time, but I do not believe you are an accurate consumer of research, given the way you are describing research.
I disagree with you, and I don't believe that you're accurate.
Fair. That's fine. That is totally fine. I am happy to do exactly what you suggested. We will both consume research and then come back and say, here's what we found, and we can explain the research to one another. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, that's be fair. All right, last question, and they get me out of here.
The last question. Are you familiar with the term internalized racism?
I don't know what the definition would be in a clinical way, but I can deduce what internalized racism would be. But
what would you say that it is?
I've heard people.
Well,
I've heard people say
go ahead.
as. I've heard people say internalized racism is. Well, let me let you explain it because I don't want to confuse or conflate two different things. But go ahead and explain it, and then we can talk about it.
So normally, people conflate the idea of internalized racism with self-hatred. And I have seen people say, and you alluded to it earlier, people say he hates his blackness. People say he hates his own skin, et cetera, et cetera. That's actually not accurate per the accurate definition of internalized racism.
Okay,
Internalized racism is I've adopted the mentality and ideas of the colonizer. So a more accurate description of the word would literally be
so let's get to the point.
Internalized colonizer.
Do you think that I fit in one of these statements?
I'm asking you, do you think you fit?
No,
do you think that
no,
the
I
term
don't.
internalized racism towards you fits?
No, and I'm glad I didn't try to guess what the meaning was because I believe I conflate the two. If you're saying that internalized racism,
you said Roy D, are you saying Scorpios are narcissists? No. Everybody's not narcissists according to a sign. Signs have nothing to do with it. No, it's the person itself. It's the way you was raised. Was your mother a narcissist? Your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, whoever raised you, could have had narcissistic tendencies. Could be a full blown narcissist. You could have had 5 siblings in the household, and out of those 5 siblings, 2 of those siblings could take the mom or the dad traits to be a narcissist. The other sibling could come out to be an empath, right? The other sibling can be a scapegoat. So all the siblings don't have to be narcissists because the father or the mother was or one of the kids is, but it's going to be it's going to be different. Empaths, very sweet, good people. Scapegoats, they usually run away at a young age. They never return. They normally go find another home, right? Meaning they'll find the love of their life. The scapegoats always turn out to be perfect children. They go, they find a husband, someone that loves them, they get married, they wait till they get older, they come out and share their story, they write books, they be professionals. So yeah, that's what normally scapegoats do. Meaning, they ran away. They escaped the abuse and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So no, it had nothing to do with a sign at all. No.
is adopting the perspective of the colonizer. 100,000%. That's not my perspective. That doesn't apply to me. If you're saying that I have self-hate, no, 100%.
I did not say that.
No, I'm not saying you did. Let me correct it. If this phrase of self-hate is not applied to me either. So
you see how he was going to lie on him? That's what they do too. And as soon as they lie on you, you have to correct them, because if you don't correct them, what they'll do, they'll take that lie and continue to spread it and spread it and spread it, but because you never corrected them. And always when you do, people like this person here, when you're talking to them, you always got to keep your eyes and your ears open. Don't miss nothing. Let them do the talking first, then you talk. Because if you talk over them, you're going to miss it. Right? Because they're already trying to make you like a bad person. Okay? Well, I told you this before. Didn't I tell you this before? You didn't deny it. You ain't denied. Tell them the truth. You know you did this. You know you said that. So you have to correct people like him straight up. The first time they make a mistake and say something wrong, you have to correct them right away. Because if you don't, you just gave them a brownie point. I promise you.
Internalized racism and self-hate does not apply to me.
Yes, they never took account.
So you believe that one of those apply to me?
I do believe the term
one?
internalized racism.
Now, we gotta. I know we run a long time, but like, you're saying that I have adopted the perspective of the colonizer.
Yes.
Give me an example. It got to be quick because I know we run a long time. Where would you derive that I've adopted the perspective of the colonizer? And can you explain real quickly who that person is or who that group of people are in America today?
I'll give you a very specific example. You said that you don't believe slavery.
Now, why she cut him off, y'all?
Is a season of hard work.
Hold
Planting,
on.
growing, harvesting.
Evaluate if
I'll
slavery
play the clip.
stole money.
See,
No,
I
because
tell
if
you,
racism
told you.
stole money because money wasn't even on the table. It's not like slaves could even make money. So you can't say they stole something they never had a chance to make.
Crazy.
That's what I was referring to. It's not like black people had money and then it was stolen from them when they were introduced into slavery, and then it could potentially have been given back to them. They never had the earning potential as being slaves. So nothing was stolen from them. Now, opportunities were not provided for them after slavery in an adequate way, but you can't say something was stolen that was never available to them.
So to be clear, you're saying black people never had anything, so thus it couldn't be stolen. Is that correct?
In slavery, the ones who were slaves, who was purchased as a slave, had nothing to gain or had nothing to, they had no possessions to hold on to because they were slaves. They weren't even considered persons, humans. They were property, like animals. They had no money to obtain or to give up or to relinquish. They had no choice in it. So that you can't compare that.
So again, I just want to be very clear on what I'm hearing. You're saying that slaves had no property, so thus it couldn't have been stolen.
Yes.
Okay. That is factually inaccurate. We know that from slave documents that they did have money. They were allowed at times to earn money.
Let's hold on.
And
Let's
those
talk
were taken.
let's talk about it because I want to be very clear about this. I studied this in college.
He always
Now,
want to be
you're
clear
talking
about what he got to say. Always. And you see how the guy say, I want to make sure I heard you clear. That's what you got to do, those kind of people. You got to reiterate. What did you just say? Because I want to be clear, I heard you correct. You have to do that with those type of people. You have to. Because they'll railroad you. They love to size you up to see how smart you are. Yeah.
I'm perceiving the slaves that are on the plantation that were not able to work. They not like Harriet Tubman, who was married and she worked and she was married and her husband was a free black man. I'm not talking about Harriet Tubman. I'm talking about other slaves who were in slavery, who had no possessions of property. They were not allowed to work. They didn't work in the house. They weren't able to purchase their freedom. None of that. I'm talking about those people. I'm not talking about people who were house
Miss
slaves,
Griffin, baby.
people who
welcome.
were servants in slavery, people like Harriet Tubman towards the end of her life, where she actually lived with her husband, who was a free black man and able to work. Some of her family members were free. And so I'm not talking about those particular slaves. So when you look at those particular slaves, some of which who were blacks who owned slaves, like I'm not considering those people. I'm considering the people who had no opportunity to work, therefore they had nothing to build or take away from.
So that I can be abundantly clear, I believe you're just demonstrating internalized racism, because when I said, I'm going to tell you, I asked you twice, can you be very clear? Are you saying this? And twice you said yes. And then when I gave you contrary information, you widened it. I'm not considering
I widened
those kinds of slaves.
because I believe that the conversation needs to be deeper than the surface level. Did they gain money or not? Because there's different phraseology, there's different phases, there's different people that were in different phases of slavery. Slavery was not all one thing. There were people who were slaves who worked. There were people who were slaves who were given the opportunity to purchase their freedom. There were people who were black, who were once slaves, who then were free and then owned slaves. We can have a broader discussion about slavery. I'm saying the ones who did not have an opportunity whatsoever, that didn't even have a chance at having any possessions, could not have possessions taken away from them. If you want to go through black people in general, we have to then talk about black people who own slaves. We have to then talk about the first legal slave owner in American history, which was Anthony Johnson. We have to talk about all the black people who purchased their freedom and who also purchased other people. freedom in slavery. Those who never
I see.
was a slave in the field. Those who always, you know, in slavery had a different perception or a different position in slavery. So it's a dynamic discussion. Our premise was people who had absolutely no opportunity whatsoever should not be evaluated as the same as those who had an opportunity. So the conversation was post-slavery. Focusing on after slavery was abolished, where do we go from here?
Respectfully, I don't see a point in talking about the details because you keep moving it instead of.
I'm not moving it. You want to broaden up the conversation. You asked me a very basic perspective.
He's right. He wanted to broaden up the conversation to what he want to talk about, y'all. That's what those people do. If it's not about what they want to talk about, they're going to let you say a little bit, and that's it. It's about them. It's not about you. It's not about you at all. And he's good because the way I'm short-tempered, baby, and he's a triggering person because I dealt with a narcissist. So I I would never have him on my platform. I could have never talked to him. It's just too much, and it will trigger you. So he good, baby, because I couldn't have stood it that long.
Clearly, what did you say? You said yes twice, and then I said, "But what about this?" And then you moved it.
And then I realized you want to broaden it. You want to broaden the conversation,
Okay.
so I broadened the conversation.
Fair. Due to time, can I ask you two more quick questions?
Okay.
One of them: are you familiar with the phrase "moral disengagement"?
Moral disengagement, no.
So would you acknowledge, regardless of whatever opinions you hold, you're allowed to hold whatever opinions you want, would you acknowledge that some of the messages that you present cause harm to people?
Yeah, no, we got to be more detailed. You saying emotional harm? You saying physical harm? Are you saying people are harmed unjustifiably? They consider to be harmed by what I said. So
I'm saying that your opinion can be your opinion.
I have no intent to harm people by what I say.
One second.
I have no intent.
I don't want to be overtalked.
And people should not be harmed by what I say.
I don't want to be overtalked, and I don't want to have to put you on mute. I don't think. I think some of the stuff you communicate on the platforms you do causes harm to people.
In what way?
Harm causes them trauma and stress to hear your message.
Okay, that's a personal thing that has nothing to do with what I'm presenting in my the way I intend to deliver it. It's not my fault that somebody's receiving personal harm in their own perspective because they don't like me saying that a black person was wrong. They feel harmed because I interview somebody. That's not legitimate.
No.
I'm saying these are the complaints that I'm hearing.
Let me ask you more specific question. If I presented you with evidence of a human being whose life has been harmed by the messages that you've put out, would you change or would you do anything different on how you're putting messages out?
Well, it depends because there's no intent for me to harm anybody. You give me a specific example, meaning that if somebody legitimately came to me and said, "Hey, man, when you said this, it really hurt me and it was materialized," I may consider, depending on what I said, I can't not tell the truth because it hurts you. But if it's something I said, I can rephrase it and it actually caused some harm to somebody and they brought it to my attention, I'm open to that. But somebody getting upset because they don't like that I criticize people who are having poor behavior because they are black, that's not my fault that people are emotional. And the same thing is, some of the things you said, I don't think it's...
You hear what he said? It's not my fault that people are emotional. Narcissists don't care about your fucking feelings. They don't care about you, your feelings, none of that. Okay? That's irrelevant to them. They're going to keep doing what they're doing if it benefits them, if it suits them, if it makes them feel good. It makes them feel validated. Okay? Yeah, he was right about that.
It's your fault that you said something and it hurt my feelings. That's irrelevant. Like, is your intent to hurt my feelings? No. I just have to be a grown man and say, I don't like what you said about me. Let's have a conversation. But my intent with my content is just to tell the truth. If people's feelings are hurt because they don't like the truth, then I'm okay with that. And I know we got to run.
See, one thing about a narcissist, they always think they're telling the truth. Everything they say is the truth. Everything they do is right. Nothing they say and do is wrong. That's why he's saying, oh, well. He's telling you he don't give a damn of how nobody feel or about hurting anyone's feelings.
Because I got to do a filming here.
I just have literally one more minute, one more question,
Okay.
and it's about Teslin Figaro. When you are debating and having conversational issues related specifically to the Nolan Wells case, I've noticed that she has been requesting an interview multiple times. Are you Teslin Figaro?
I don't know.
Are you willing to sit down with her?
I don't know who that is.
If I connect the two of you, would you be willing to have a conversation with Teslin?
I have a conversation with anybody. It just depends. I got to know who this person is.
She is an attorney. She is working in the Nolan Wells case.
Is she the lady?
Yo, that's the lady, y'all. That's my friend, y'all. That's my friend. That's Firecracker.
In the comment section?
I don't know if she's a lady in comment
that you responded
section.
to.
I think
she said something like, "I don't know why Brandon won't debate me." Is that her?
I think her name is Teslin Figaro.
Is that who you're talking about? You responded to her in the comments. She said, "I don't know why Tatum won't debate me." No, she said, "I don't know why Tatum won't debate me."
You see,
something,
he wanted to be about him. He wanted this question asked.
She's a black lady, correct? Would you be willing?
I think we're talking about the same person. I know who she is. I just didn't know her name, but it depends, man. She's super ghetto and.
See how he defamed her? See, I told you what they do. She's not ghetto. She's not ghetto at all. She gets straight to the punch. And narcissists don't like when people get straight to the punch. They can't handle real people. Why he didn't say that about Nancy?
And
whoa, no. She's not super ghetto, nor disrespectful.
I've been on an interview with her.
I understand.
Hold on, y'all. That rubbed his feathers, y'all. He didn't like that.
But I just want to put it out there. She was wondering why I didn't debate her or nothing. It's some people are not acting in good faith, and I don't want to get into an argument.
No, he don't want to debate with her because she's strong in her spot. Narcissists does not like strong people; they like weak people.
With somebody and they cussing and acting a fool. I feel like you've been respectful, although I disagree with you. You've been respectful in your commentary towards me, although I disagree with it. You haven't called me out of my name and you cursing and acting up. And so that's why I was willing to talk to you. But other people that are cussing
Griffin,
and,
you be on
and
it,
trying
girl.
to get a gotcha moment, I'm not really interested. You know, like people got to realize I have 8 million people that follow me. I have an incredible platform. I don't really gain anything by going on other people's platforms. I just respect.
See, the thing is, y'all, that narcissists love money too. Let me let y'all know that. So you see what he said? He don't gain anything by going on other people's platforms. He wants people to come on his platform because that makes him money over there. When he go to other people's platforms, he's not making no money. So he wants people to come to his platform so he can curse you out, dog you out, drop you down, make you look stupid. That's what narcissistic people do with their behavior. Yeah.
You enough to say I would like to have a conversation. And
well,
the young lady
I just want to go.
That talk crazy about me every day. I don't know. I got to consider if I would talk to her because I don't know if it would be productive.
Okay, I gotta let you go, but I will gonna go on the record and say I think you should sit down and have a conversation with Teslin because she is just as informed and connected to this case and has interviewed as many people as you have, and I think that's an important thing. So, Mr. Tatum, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Whew. All right, guys. Man, I don't know what I think. So
you know what he think. He done sized them up.
Helen, can you remove him out of StreamYard? I don't know what I think of the interview. I'll have to take some time to think about it. What I can tell you is I think every single term that I brought up, naive realism, internalized racism, I think all of those terms are accurate. Moral disengagement. Moral disengagement is if I know the things I'm saying are causing people harm, I'm going to, and I want to consider myself a good person, as all of us do, I'm going to selectively choose what things I attend to and what things I don't. And he is doing all of the things. And I wanted to have this conversation, quite honestly, for that reason. I am a mental health professional. It's what I do. I've been listening to Mr. Tatum this whole time. And I've been hearing it through a clinical lens, and I can see not just the grift, but I can see how he's doing it. So what was important to me to do today was to have a conversation where you could see what he's doing in real time. You saw him move. I was very intentional about every single word I said. I was very intentional about letting him talk when he spoke, but you watch him, he clearly does not know how to digest research. You don't just take to, oh, these two things disagree, then all I have to go on my lived experience. That is not true. You have to weight the quality of that research, and all of us clinicians and people who consume research consistently, we all know that this is how we do that. The other thing that was interesting, did you guys notice this is how internal racism looks? And it was important to me to clinically be able to point this out. But this is how you see it happen. Did you notice that I asked him specifically about a very highly educated, a very highly qualified Black woman who is very well connected to the Nolan Wells case and works very closely with attorney Benjamin Crump, who has overtly called him out and said, I want to debate you. The first thing he did, in my opinion, was he lied. He was disingenuous. Who is that? Teslin Figaro is a very...
Y'all, let's be honest here. He knew exactly who she was. He tried to play stupid because they do that sometimes too. But he knew exactly who she was. Then he goes on to say, oh, she's ghetto. No, she's not ghetto. She's just a firecracker. She speaks her mind. That's it. And narcissist doesn't like people that do that. They don't like nobody come against them. You're not going to tear down their credibility or nothing, because they will fight back with fire. That's how they are.
Very well-known person. She delivers news on CNN, Fox News, and The Breakfast Club very consistently. We know.
Oh, that was you, Miss Griffin. Thank you, baby.
He knows who she is.
Thank you,
He's interacted with her several times, and she's called him out publicly several times. So he is asking us to believe that he has noticed Elliot Connie and his content and knows my name and knows me well enough to interact with me, but he doesn't know hers. And he doesn't know who this person is. Then he says disrespectful, rude things to her. Oh, you mean that super ghetto person? And he says, I'm not willing to engage with them because they talked about me in this way. This is how the grift works. He just moves his position very, very consistently. And I will close by saying this. One of the most accurate phrases, why I spent the most time talking about it, and the conversation to a large degree went exactly how I expected it to go. I did not expect him in any way to say, oh, wow, Elliot, you're making a great point. I acknowledge that point you made. But I wanted to do this interview so that you guys could see psychologically what is happening here. And the most important phrase that I think fits is what I refer to as naive realism, which basically means I believe my subjective experience represents the true experience, and people who hold that position are people who refer to themselves in who are next to authoritarianism. And you can see that he does that. That's why he wants to go by Officer Tatum when that's a job he no longer holds. Authoritarianism matters.
Didn't I just tell y'all that? Didn't I just tell y'all that? That's why he's still going by that name. He can't let it go. He still wants to be on the police force. That makes him feel validated by still holding that name like he's somebody. He don't want to let it go. That's his power. That's his control. That's why he don't want to let that name go.
It's connected to his identity, and all of you need to acknowledge that if he does say to me, Elliot, oh, there is racial bias in policing, then a lot of his platform crumbles. And then lastly, he's getting social rewards, and social rewards are things like attention and money for having these positions. When you are in that position, your brain experiences contrarian information to your beliefs as an existential threat. And it responds to that existential threat by doing what we call identity protective cognition, which your brain says, I can't accept that threat because my entire psyche would suffer. So I have to protect my cognitive identity. And by the way, all of you think like he is lying and he's doing this, he's aware. Existential threat defense, identity cognitive protection, that happens on a subconscious level. So he is very much not lying. He actually believes that he is being objective. He actually believes that he's doing these things. He is absolutely not aware that these things are happening. So thank you guys so much for being here. It was really important to try to have this conversation. I hope I did you guys justice, and I hope that I was able to highlight the psychological components to this conversation in a way that was useful to y'all. I love y'all, man. Thank you for being here. Please do not forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me over on Facebook if this is where you're watching it. I love y'all, and I'll see you next time.
Ooh, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. That's the only thing he kept saying, you know, because I know we got to get off. He was done, y'all. He was done. He couldn't take no more. He couldn't take anymore. He had to get up out of there. You know, he gonna be getting all kind of phone calls, texts, and stuff, and you know, yeah. And he knew that Miss Firecracker was watching. He knew that, and he seen her in that chat. He seen her in that chat. He seen her. She said, "I clocked that." Yes, you did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know him. That's why I called him out just like he did. You know? He wanna be empowered. It's just basically he don't care about nobody's feelings. He said that he don't care what nobody feel. He don't. And believe it or not, y'all, he don't really care about those boys that he interviewed. He don't care about those damn boys. He only did that because it was money there that he built. Okay, that was money. That was money. He was getting paid for that from his platforms. You know, the boys wasn't on his platform, but he had the camera rolling when he had those boys doing an interview. Okay, it's about money for narcissists. It's about validation for them. They want people to look at them all the time in a good light. Oh, you're doing so great. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't care what no one say about you or what nobody feel about you. That's the validation. And that make them go even harder and stronger in what they're doing with these people not realizing that they are really dealing with a sick individual. You know? Great live, Miss D. Thank you, Lisa. Exactly. That's a meal ticket. He's not lying. He doesn't give a damn. He don't. Mm-mm. He don't care about those boys neither. Narcissists love division. They love confusion. They likes to know how to get it started. So he know once he started interviewing them boys, he already had his mind set up that he knew that this was going to cause division all through the social media streets. And that's what he wanted. But he tried to pretend nobody didn't want to listen to the boys. Who cares about what they say? Because they've been lying the whole time. So who gives a damn about what they say? Nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn but him. But see, he couldn't come back and say, well, you know, Warren, well, you know, you told us that you told the mother you had the phone. He ain't gonna come back and justify that. You know, he heard that interview, what the mother said. He heard it. Yeah. And for that attorney to get on Nancy Grace live the other day and said he became good friends with somebody. How the hell you become good friends with some goddamn body you just met and don't even know them like that? Wow. That's some crazy shit. We're good friends now. We have both have blue trucks and what the hell? I don't give a damn. You got the same color car I got. I ain't gonna be your best goddamn friend. I don't even goddamn know you. See, narcissists is good to know how to wing people in. They know. They know. They know what to do. They know what to do and they know what to say. Yes. Mm-hmm. They sure do. They know. I got a cousin like that. And ooh, wait, for real? Girl, I got a sister like that. I love her, but I stay away, child, because I can't take that narcissistic behavior. It's just be too much, child. Yeah, I got a sister. She's a narcissist, and I call out on her shit every time, and she doesn't like it. But it is what it is. I still love her. I just stay away because I can't deal with her behavior. She never likes to be wrong. You know, she like to um, double talk you. You know, she like that lie and say, "Well, you remember I told you this, girl? You ain't never tell me shit. Stop fucking lying." Well, you must have forgot because she want me to say, "Oh yeah, I probably did." No, I'm not gonna say shit because you never told me. So I got one too now. Yeah, I got one too. Trust me, I know how they operate. I know how they operate. They something else. Where's that at, Miss Griffin? I probably don't play it today because I don't ran over time. Maybe I'll do a video on it tomorrow if I find it, because you know I'm go live on weekends. If I can find it, I do. Who got it? Miss Griffin, you know who got it? This is my weekend. Yeah, if I can find it, I sure will do a video on it tomorrow. I drop it tomorrow, girl. If they're with them. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So yeah, I thank God I know who they are. But I don't think he'll do an interview with Miss Firecracker. I doubt it. I don't think so. And you can tell she ain't scared, baby. She's staying up for what she believe in, and I like that. I like that. And when a narcissist, you have to stand up and believe in what you believe in, and you have to fight back, and you have to fight them hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, he don't like Nancy. He pretend he do, but he don't like her because he got on somebody live and said, yeah, Nancy something. I forgot what it was, but he said something on the live about Nancy. He don't like Nancy. He just put up with her. Same place you got the other to see that. Okay. She is on front team. She know the facts, and that's why. Yup. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yup. She know all the facts. Yep. She said, "Let them boys keep talking." She said, "Let them keep talking, honey." She said she loving it, honey. Let them keep on talking. Shit, they might not talk no more, y'all. They may not talk no more. They may ain't got nothing to say. I don't know. I don't know. But my thing is, when is this autopsy is going to be revealed, y'all? That's my thing. Shit, we going into September and what? Maybe another week or 2 weeks or something like that. We're going into September. When? That's crazy. She on here watching everything. Yup. Mm-hmm. Mm. He wanted to hurry up and get off that live. He couldn't take it no more, y'all. It was too much pressure. Narcissists don't like pressure. They can't deal with pressure. Pressure do not set well with the narcissist, and that's for real. Don't set well with them at all. But I'll probably do a video tomorrow. I'll probably do it. I'll probably record it tomorrow morning and drop it, man, around about 1. Around about 1 tomorrow. I'll probably drop it. They're not releasing until they're not gonna release until they get the phone. I thought about that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought about that too. So wonder when they're gonna do the phone. No, y'all. Oof. Wow. I wanted that they show the parents and Ben Crump the resource, I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't even think they talked to the mom. I don't think so. Because the mom would have said something, I believe. I don't think they said nothing to that mom since the beginning of July. And y'all remember, you remember the meeting they went to, y'all, and they had that press conference that day outside the courthouse? I think that was the last time the mom and Ben Crump spoke with them. Mm-hmm. Yep, I think that was the last time. And that's sad. But if anybody want to donate, I'm going to get up off of here, y'all, and see what I can find for y'all tomorrow, child. Ooh, baby, this was a good live. Well, his narcissistic ass. That man, ooh, girl, that man know he too much. He know he is, ooh. And girl, they think their behavior is just so outstanding. Yes, they think their behavior is outstanding. They love to flip the strip on you, honey. And let me tell you something about a narcissist before I get off here. If they know, if you share something with them, right, and they know the truth about it, about what was said or what was done, whatever the situation is, and you fuck around and go against them, your ass is grass. Your ass is grass. Because everything they know that was truthful, they're going to put it out. And they're coming to social media with it. Yeah. So don't think you're in the clear with them. Don't think you're in the clear with them. They gave them 7 days to comply. Okay. Yep. So don't think you're in the clear with them. Because the first time, if they feel that you're trying to cross them in any way, any form of fashion, even if they feel you done said something behind their back, they're gonna out you. I'm telling you. They're gonna out you. They don't care. They don't care. So be mindful. Right. So, they better stay friends with Mr. Potato. Because Mr. Potato, shit. Baby. Baby, you think these streets is hot now? These YouTube streets would be on fire. We probably had to do 3 lives a day. Cause baby, it will be so much to keep up with, baby. Baby. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah. Even if a narcissist if someone tell you a story and the narcissist sitting there, right? Because they're on your side for the most, right? Yeah, I believe you. You didn't do this. You didn't say that. Blah 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 blah. Right? But in their mind, the narcissist is looking at you like, man, you did that shit. I believe you did that shit. This how they viewing you now. You did it. You said it. I believe you and your friends did this. You and your friends said that. But they're not telling you that. But the moment that you fuck around and find out, yeah, I ain't believe you anyway. I knew you did that. I just had you thinking I was on your side. I believe you did it. You a liar. Remember you said this, you told me this. That's how they do you. That's how they do you. I'm telling you. They're not good people. Oh, Lord, child. It's just so funny. The parents' lawyer told them they was ready yesterday. Oh, yeah, she did say that yesterday. Yeah, she did. Mm-hmm. And he been telling them for a couple of weeks and show better proof. Yep. Mm-hmm. We need a lot of proof, baby. We need a lot of proof. Mm-hmm. The parents told them yesterday, I've been ready to investigate jointly, and they have not responded. They showed the paperwork. They just wanted to make the mother and the father look bad. That's what they want to do. Yep. That's what they want to do. They want to make the mother and the father look bad. And ain't that sad, y'all? That's just so sad. Well, y'all, I'm going to get up off here. I ran over time today, but this was a great live. I appreciate everyone that timed in. Thank y'all so much. Miss Griffin, thank you for your donation, baby. I appreciate you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you so much for that. For your donation. You're the only one I got a donation from today, and I appreciate you, sister girl. And thank you for trying to help me out, too. I appreciate that. Thank you for trying to help me out with the live. Mississippi have not responded. Do you think they're going to respond soon? You think they may respond soon? Oh, okay. They did give them. Well, let's say today is Friday. Maybe by Tuesday or next Wednesday, you think? They may respond by then? You know, when it comes to the phone situation? I think this case is far from being over, y'all. Oh, Lord. Okay, Miss Griffin, I got it. Okay. They don't have a choice now. They have 6 days. Okay. I'm not a creator, but I invested in this. Yeah, I think a lot of people is. I think a lot of people is. You know, because it was a sad situation, y'all. It was just so sad. It was really sad how her son left to have a great time for the 4th of July, and her son didn't even make it back home. Like, that's enough to catch anybody eye that, that has a heart, and want justice for her son, you know? And from what I can tell, I'm not knowing the truth. It seems like Nolan was the dad's only child. That's what it seems to me. That was his only child. Because I never heard him talk of any more other children. I know the mom had other children by a previous relationship, but I think that this was his only child. I mean, if y'all know anything that y'all can let me know. But I never heard nobody speaking of it or talk on anything. And I never heard him say anything about it. So I'm guessing Nolan was his only child. by Christina. Me neither, but I'm not sure. Okay. This breaks my heart. And his birthday. Yep, the 19th. I think the 19th is Wednesday, I think. Yeah, I think that's Wednesday. Yeah, that's sad. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, you're right, because that could have been any one of our children, our niece, our nephew, our grandkids. And it's just so sad. It really is sad. Um. Oh yeah, I did see they was having it on the 19th. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I don't have to do that day. I'm going to look into it. Okay. Yeah. So thank y'all so much for timing in. I want y'all to stay blessed, stay prayed up, keep God first. Be safe out here in these streets out here, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Be safe. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. And I love you guys and thank everyone for timing in. I appreciate you, Miss Griffin. Thank you so much again for helping me when I first came live chat because I was stuck. Okay. Thank you so much and thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. And I will definitely see you guys. Brittany, where you been? I ain't see you today. I did send you an inbox this morning, but I figured you was at work, girl, so I ain't say nothing. But we'll talk, girly. I watched the replay. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you so much, sis. I'm at work. Okay, I kind of figured that. Thank you, Rebecca. I'm on break. Okay. Okay. All right. And check your inbox too, Brittany. I did inbox you this morning. So I love you guys. Y'all be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed. I guess Open Book will be live later. I think she's at work. So I will see y'all later. Thank you again. Peace and blessings. I love you all. You all have a blessed day. I will see y'all back live on Monday. And I'll probably drop a recording tomorrow between 1 and 1:30. So if you do, please make sure you subscribe with your notification bells on. You have to hit all when you subscribe to the channel. So anytime I drop something, a recording, go live, you will get the notification. Be blessed. Be blessed. I'm waiting on her. Yeah, I think she at work because she did text me while I was live. So I think she's at work. So I will see you all later. Peace and love.